All right, welcome to Skull Island. We are live. We are your hosts. I am Leonard O'Neill. Here with me today is Miguel Pena from the Pena Perspective.
Mike
Aaron
Peace,
Fowler is here in the Aaron Fowler psychic shaman, as I get tongue
Psychic
tied there.
Salmon.
Psychic shaman, right? Right. And then Norma, of course. And Norma is what is the title that you use? I know that you marry
Norms.
people.
I
Norm,
do
psychic
a lot
Norm,
of
and
the
the
same
mystic.
things that Aaron does, but
Yeah, yeah.
differently. And I'm also a ceremony, like basically specialist. If you need someone to officiate a ceremony for you, I can do it. Really doesn't matter what it is. If I need to learn something to do it, I will do that. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
And three out of the four of us are ministers and can marry you.
yeah.
And that's only because Mr. Pena hasn't
I
decided to get
haven't
his.
finished yet.
He
Yeah.
hasn't
I
finished yet.
swear
He has,
Mr.
he has
Pena was
I have been
once
ordained
a
twice
I'm
at
all
Universal
words
Life
and no
Church
action,
and
man. I
the
need to
Latter Day
work on
Jews.
that.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Mike was once a monk in his past life. I think he was like a Catholic
Actually,
monk, like you know what I mean, like
I went
I
to the
agree because
seminary.
he acts
friar.
like a monk now. In fact, I am
Well,
considered a Catholic monk because I was knighted by the church. That means that I'm a holy paladin. So they actually treat us like we're monks. I
I
actually
went
wore
to
the
Yeah,
monk outfit and the whole nine. I was wearing the brown with the with the rope tassel that you tie and the whole nines. I got in the font wearing that and then when I got knighted, of course, I was wearing a tuxedo, but still, right?
Oh,
Right.
sweet.
So
Well,
we are considered
I went to
ministers
seminary for a year
and
and that
monks,
sort of
holy
thing,
monks
so
of the
it's
church.
more or less.
Sorry, Mike, what were you saying?
No, I went to the seminary for a year and then that sort of thing.
See?
I ended up doing more missionary work than anything else. So I'm not a monk or anything else.
that's a
Just
missionary work. I could see you doing that in many
Yep.
lifetimes, dude. I know I've known you in other
Yep.
lifetimes, and you were a missionary
Yeah.
or some type of like friar. That's what I
Right.
see.
I'm
Like
just
you were
I'm just here to spread the word, brother.
that guy that just like he's just takes it all in. He's just like fuck, but I got to do it. It's like who's that guy in the Bible? He reminds me of Eli. Is it Eli?
Oh, that would be nice. I like Eli.
Yeah.
Is that who it is? That's kind of the vibe.
Yep.
The Book of Eli. Oh
The
yeah,
Book of
that was a
Eli.
great movie. That was a
That was
great
a
movie.
great movie.
I
Yeah.
love that fucking movie.
That was,
I
that
would
was
not
crazy
mind being
wild.
Denzel Washington in another life because that guy's just fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
he
joke about that either.
Awesome actor. And actually, on my channel, I've got the first video that I have out of the favorites for the book and that I'm using as bibliography is a graduation speech that Denzel Washington gave to the graduating class. I think it was Stanford, something like that. Absolutely wonderful speech that he had. Starts off with put God first, and everything else ends up falling into place. So I've got lots of resources over on my channel too, so back it up and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're all good. We're all trying to spread the light. However, we're in the middle of dark times right now, and we
Yeah.
got lots of honking going on, right?
Right.
Yeah, a bunch of craziness. If you guys looked at look at the meme that we have here for our background, you can see there's old Justin Trudeau there with his big ears sticking out and wearing
Not that he is the only clown out there, but you know.
yeah,
And
right.
I was
So
No,
I was
he's just
inspired
part of the
today when he put
circus.
on emergency powers or emergency. He's
yeah,
basically
yeah,
going to
yeah.
try to take the truckers' bank
Yeah,
accounts. I'm sure they're all like, okay, we'll just take our money out. Like,
Right.
and
he's
what are you going to
calling
do? It's going to
martial
hurt you.
law.
What's going to
He's
hurt
calling
me?
for
Yeah.
martial law.
You know what? What's he gonna do?
It's
You know,
mostly illusion, though, dude. Like, I mean, there's stuff that happens, but really, it's like, I'm telling you what to do. No, you're not. Okay. I mean, really, it's if you, and that's what they're doing. They're pushing them to show this. Their demonstration here is going to show you, and that's what really we do. It's not protesting. It's demonstrating what the empire will do to you, or what
Well, yeah,
how
but we
far they're
already know
willing
what
to
they did.
go.
But we already know what they did in Cuba.
Yeah.
Fidel Jr. up there is trying to
right?
turn it into the CCP of
And
the North.
that is actually not a that is not a conspiracy theory or just somebody made that up. He really is the illegitimate son of Fidel Castro. They even talked about it on
Dude, if
Fox.
you have
Right?
a proof of that, dude, I want to see
I
it
want to see
because
that proof.
I have the
Dude,
same
it's
feeling,
Yes.
but I don't have proof. So,
no,
Yeah.
but it's
and I know
it's
some
the
things
fact
I
don't
don't
need
have any
proof,
proof
but
either,
this
but
one I think
it's
you
one
do.
of those things.
her hanging all over Fidel Castro's arm in front of
Yeah.
her husband.
Mhm.
Them having a very special relationship, the husband and everybody else, and getting along and making various trips to that. And then
Yeah.
you just have to do the 9 months before Justin was born, and you find out if they made a trip. And probabilities generally don't fucking lie. It's
Right.
it's not the
Mhm.
smoking fucking gun DNA test, but holy fucking shit, man. Whenever you
I
see
mean, does
stuff
it matter
piling up at
though?
that point. Well,
Probably all
not
related
really.
to
But
Rothschilds
sometimes
in
it's
some
worth
way, dude.
knowing. Do you guys remember before Joan Rivers died? Back
Yeah,
when,
she said, oh
when
God, here we go. We're not going here.
2016,
Oh, God,
right?
dude.
You know where I'm going with this.
I'm not going. I'm
2016.
not saying shit.
well,
on-
see,
on
you remember the
2016,
reason
when-
why she was killed, right?
Right, well, 2016, somebody said to her, "Hey, if Pete Buttigieg gets elected president, we'll have the first gay president." She says,
Yeah.
"Oh God,
man.
we already have one.
Obama's all right.
We already have one." And so they were like, she was like, "What?" And she said, well, Obama.
Obama.
Yeah, Obama. You know that his wife is a man, right?
Yeah, Michael's a tranny. Everybody
Michael.
knows
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
Oh,
and so I've seen the
this
video
is
where he
shit
messes
right
up. He
here.
was on board that military ship and he's talking to the guys, and there was no microphone in front of his face, so there wasn't like his mouth had been changed. I used to do this for a living. I used to
He was like,
authenticate
well, Michael
photos
and
and
I
video.
were over there, and
And I got to get that right, or Michael's going to get pissed at me for not saying that right. Nobody flinched; they all just kept staring at him. But you could tell by their body language that every one of the guys that heard him was like, "What did you say? Did you just hear that?" It was kind of like in that show.
it's that Freudian slip.
Exactly.
Does it really matter though? Does it really matter?
No, but my point is,
that all
to
these
be honest,
leaders
none
are
of
all,
it is important.
inbred. I mean, didn't we know that? Isn't that what
Right,
None of it's
These
important, to
royal
be
families
honest.
are, is inbred?
If your DNA related to Fidel Castro, one of the biggest dictators, you have those
Right.
tendencies in your DNA.
Right.
Is the point?
Dude, that guy.
I don't care about what a person's sexual preference is, right? I
Yeah.
don't care about that. If Michael is Michelle, who cares, right? I've seen the pictures
Yeah.
where she's dancing and there's something in her pants that was moving
No,
around
but-
like
no,
a
but
fucking
you-
rabbit
well,
down there. Just saying.
Besides the fact that he played linebacker in college, I mean, please, come on.
Right.
There's pictures in college of those two. I mean, please.
Yeah.
Next topic.
Right.
You
I
know,
don't
know,
know
really
what
like-
he's saying,
the
though.
point
Like,
is-
we're
But the
talking
thing is,
about-
Yeah.
no, but the thing is, the level
but
of
the
lies.
Castro
if they
thing,
can't-
dude, I'm telling
they
you, like,
can't-
I see it. And I can see it. Like, I
Yeah.
can see it.
You can
and I
see
do see the
like the
picture,
resemblance,
but-
right?
We get a lot of
But
things
what I'm
thrown
talking
at
about
us.
is the
dude. We gotta
amount of
remember
lies.
that.
Yeah.
If they can't,
That will
if they
send
can't
us down rabbit holes that are pointless.
Well,
that will
because-
get us nowhere.
Right.
True. Absolutely.
Here's the thing with the way our brains work, the way the body language, right? The way just the body kind of works.
Yeah.
If you have an idea of something, you will literally dismiss everything else to hit that target, to validate
Well, see,
yourself.
and that's the scientific method, is being
Yeah.
able to overcome that
Yeah.
sort of thing, to say always, I'm
Mhm.
not here to prove anything, I'm here to disprove, and if I can't disprove it, that's when it becomes compelling.
Right.
That doesn't
Which
mean
is-
that it
yes.
is,
Yes.
right? Like if I'm looking for aliens, I'm not going to be saying I want to see aliens. I'm going to want to see everything but aliens so that I can disprove this and debunk it. When you
Right.
Yeah.
can't, right? Someone asked me that question, what makes you think that you can create ancient aliens worldwide, right? And which is what I did. And now
Right.
it has almost 300,000 members. Every time we hit 300,000, Facebook comes in and deletes like
Yeah.
10 or 20,000 and says, "Oh, those were fictitious accounts." Really?
Those are all
That's weird. It
bots.
took you 10 years to find those, did it?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Anyway, so we're right there at the edge. We keep going over 300,000. They keep pushing us back, and then a couple months later we go over and they push us back. But we're right there. So someone said to me, "What gives you that right?" And I said, "Well, let's see. I've been hunting UFOs since I was 8 years old, and as for a living for 5 years, I authenticated photos, videos,
Live
and the
on
like."
D Live, y'all. We're
Right?
live on D Live.
Look at
All
that.
right,
That's
that's
on D-Live.
sweet.
That's rocking right there. And then
We
I
need to
continued
Now,
doing
we
that
get donations of D Live.
the rest of my life, dealing with UFOs. So here I am in 2012, and I decided to create Ancient Aliens Worldwide.
Oh, those cats.
And somebody asked me, about 3 or 4 years after it was up, when it was public, and I was like, "There's my credentials. I've been doing this
Oh,
forever,
goodness.
right? How long have you been doing this? You know what I mean?" That's what I say to people who ask me that. What's your claim to fame? What makes me think that you should judge me as to whether or not I can be up here just because you question? What gives you the right? What gives me
Yeah.
the right is I can do it. And
Yeah,
I did it,
because I'm born free like the rest of us, unless I
Yeah.
want to be a slave or a
right?
captive.
But it's
And
not
we
like
have a choice.
it's
I
not
mean,
like I'm
yes,
claiming
we are on
to
a
be
prison
this-
planet, but we're also on a planet we can be master manifestors, and we can live our life and
Right.
thrive and
Yeah.
thrive the way we want to.
Right.
Right. It's not
And-
like I'm a fraud that I made the thing. I don't know a fucking thing about the field, right? And I'm just sitting back and I hope everybody around me knows what's
Right.
going on because I don't fucking do. And even if I
Right.
was that, it wouldn't
No,
really
you don't
fucking
wanna be
matter
that
as long
one.
as I wasn't telling lies or making shit up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I go into something, when somebody says something, I pull my Irish card because the Irish are always forever saying, "Oh, I'm not buying that," or we call bullshit on everything. So
The
when
Irish
somebody
are.
says, somebody sends me a video, look at this, I got a picture of a UFO in my backyard. I look at it and go, okay, let's see what this really is that this person thinks is a UFO.
Right.
And that's what I
Yeah.
do. And I get it on my computer, I blow it up on the big screen. I start looking at pixels. I start looking at everything, shadows, everything, landscape. Is this doctored in any way? Because
Right.
humans have a tendency to doctor things and think that they covered their tracks, and they don't know how to do it. Somebody
Well,
has to be
because for
really
people
good
that
with
are
a really
just
good
getting
computer
new, you
program.
can fool many people with it if you're good enough, right?
Well, they have apps and shit that you can add UFOs into
Yeah.
videos and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
kinds of shit. You can add look what
Oh,
we
and
did
they
with
can do it
Trudeau's
really
face,
well,
what
dude.
Aaron
There's
did
some
there
of
with
that shit is like
Trudeau's
really,
face, putting it on the
Yeah.
clown, right? I mean, we can do that. The what they call a dark steel or a dark mapping, or where they take something and they overlap someone's voice or their picture onto it to make it look like they did or said
Deep-
something they didn't
deep
do and
fakes.
got caught on film. They do. There's people that are professionals that
fakes.
do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Deep fakes.
Yeah.
Deep
That was the
fakes,
term
yeah.
that was used in
Yeah.
Q about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the way that she's going to be able to try and get away with exactly what the Durham report is calling out right now. I mean,
But that's what they did.
cookie jar.
They did that. They went in, hacked the computers, and were planting evidence. And you can't do that without getting caught unless someone doesn't know what to look for. And that's the truth of that. And luckily, somebody knew what to look for when they went in there and they found the footprints. You can't get in and get out from any server without leaving a footprint, even if you have a back door. And because the back door logs that somebody logged into it.
Exactly.
So in the memory, that was the whole premise of Tron. They stole his video games. This
Yep.
guy stole them, took credit for all of them. He created all of them. That guy got rich and became the CEO. And Tron and the guy, Flynn, knew that somewhere in that memory was the memory of him being the owner
Wait,
in that
what was
person's
what
Yeah, I
was
saw that
what
as
was wait, what was his name?
Right.
You said his name was what?
Flynn.
Flynn. Okay.
Flynn.
Yeah.
And we have somebody, Flynn, who was memory hold because he knew where all the bodies were.
Right?
Predictive programming again for you? Much?
Right?
That happens
All
all
right.
the time, man.
Yeah,
Well,
it
fuck
does.
yeah.
It's happening all over.
So-
I mean,
Oh,
more
yeah.
time, more than it ever, everybody's being censored. The people are being locked up. There's a lot locked up you never hear about because they're not going to report it on the news
Right.
because those are the same people keeping those people in prison.
Well,
They're
that's
doing
sad.
the right
and that's
thing,
the whole
and-
thing. Unless you actually go and you do for your own eyes and ears or whatever, you fall victim to this because it is very easy to show you. I can show you this giant crowd, okay? But if I do my photo just right, I don't have to doctor shit. It doesn't look like
And we've
nobody's
seen that
there.
in
Ain't nobody there. Look
campaigns
at how
and-
this is this, or look at what's going on over here. And I
Oh,
just
that
took
was-
a photo
That was
in the
the
middle of a crowd.
argument. That was
and
the
I can do
argument in
that, right?
2016.
Yeah, it
Largest
happens all
crowds
the time.
ever.
Our brains work on those types of memories. Whatever
Yeah.
that first recall to this particular image, feeling, whatever it is you bank it as that.
First impressions.
And unless you
create
really
an archive on that.
understand all of it that's happening within you at all times, and you're fully aware all the time
Right.
of what you're picking up at all times, these things can happen, right?
Your
and
memory,
even the things that you believe and you accept as true, you still want to take some time with those things. Why is it that why does it make me feel better to believe this? Or why is it that I do that? Or why? Because, I mean, why do you? Why is this such a strong belief for you? Until you really figure out whether it is that you've programmed yourself or society's, however it's happened, because we're little organic machines here, right? Picking up data all the time. And we delete a lot of shit.
Works, see, that's good that you bring that up, because to not be aware of it, this is for those of you out there listening, what Norma is, I'm going to expand a little on what Norma, make it simpler and expand on what she just said. The way you have to understand that we have two things that are on autopilot here, actually three that are on autopilot. This avatar, the pain body that we're in, is on autopilot, and it's existing for us to be able to have this experience. Our brain, which runs the autopilot for the body, the mind thinks as well, and the mind is on autopilot. This is what she's talking about. And then you have the ego, which tries to drive the mind to think certain things, okay, and doubt and negative things. But the mind is a recording device not only does it think, but it records everything. And what Norma's saying is that left to its own devices on autopilot, your mind will grab a hold of whatever it's being told, and our minds want to make a story up because that
Yes.
fits. Your mind has to have a story. It has to have a beginning, a middle, and
Mhm.
an ending
Yep.
to understand what's happening, because it doesn't understand what's happening,
Yeah.
and it's trying to give all the information that it can to the higher self. But if you don't recognize that you have a higher self and you become associated with the mind, then these things, these Jedi mind tricks, these things that are not done on purpose sometimes, that are
Right.
nefarious, because the ego senses that, your mind will grab a hold of that. And anyways, it grabs a hold of everything because that's what its job is to do. So if you
Yep.
associate with the mind is fooling you because it's not alive, it's not thinking, it's just
Right.
telling you
It's
everything
our
it
tool.
sees.
It's
Yeah.
it's the tool of this avatar.
Yeah.
And you can allow it to run things for you, and you can just be on your whole life. That's fine. You could choose to do that. We do have that free will. Or you can really truly understand that it is your tool. And yes, it encompasses all is mind. The universe is mental, right? Even the things that we share and see collectively are truly just data points throughout the collective universal all, right?
Yeah.
Being able to understand how you work, why you believe certain things, why you want to hold on to certain, why you would, you know what I mean? Like truly understanding how your mind works is the best way to not only live your best life, but to accept and change those outer things that you want to in that inadvertent, non-forceful way.
Yeah.
Right. And that takes practice. First thing you have to
Nothing,
do is you have
nothing
to
is
start
really
focusing
inadvertent.
on pulling yourself out of the mindset and into that spiritual place. I was watching a video that Eckhart Tolle just put out yesterday, and it was entitled "Are You Thinking Right Now?"
Right.
and so he asked the question to people. He did exactly what I do with the meditative portion, where I tell people to breathe, only he did it just with talking, so showing another avenue. He said, in a moment I'm going to stop talking, and in that moment I'm going to sit silent, and I want everybody to see if you're thinking without realizing you're thinking, or can you be present in this moment and just experience this moment. And then he stopped talking, and he just sat there blinking, looking at the camera for about 30 seconds. Right. And because 30-second increments are about how far you want to go with people, because most people start thinking again after 30 seconds, even if you tell them not to. They get bored because 30 seconds seems like a long time. And the mind wants to think, and the ego wants to think. Right. So after 30 seconds, it's a little harder for people, if they're brand new to it, to hold that pose. You know what I mean? That's like doing that pose in yoga where you stand up and you lift up one leg and rest it on your knee, to the left side of your knee or the right side, depending on which foot you're standing on. And you stand there. I forget what they call that, the stork pose or something like that. And you just stand there on one foot. The first couple times you do it, unless you have really good balance, that's kind of difficult. But after a while, your body catches the zen of it, and then you can stand there. It's part of Tai Chi and part of yoga that you do. And I've kind of started doing that. Oh, we got our troll is back again here. Hold on.
I got him.
I got him too. So he'll be gone in a second.
I don't know if I just blocked him for myself or if I blocked him on the channel. But anyway,
we probably all. I don't know. You probably blocked him for yourself.
He just got triple blocked, so hopefully.
I do need to give you. I need to give you a wrench.
Yeah, it wasn't working. I
couldn't
couldn't get it. An error has occurred.
I was over on Facebook. Let me check that out. I'll put it in.
Okay, I'm gonna go to YouTube and make you go to YouTube and I'll make you I'll give you a wrench.
There we go.
Right,
wrench you, buddy.
What the fuck is that? Okay, I got him.
Troll.
Right. So what was I saying before I noticed that?
Actually, Norma was talking about how we all need to get into a collective consciousness and be able to understand the things that we inadvertently do. And you were talking about sort of the programming of the consciousness, and I wanted in numerous times to try and interject the fact that the way that the brain, which is a mechanism, a biological mechanism,
tool,
translates
Yep.
things. It creates little sockets of memory in order to place things. Okay.
Yep.
But it needs a label for that. And so
Yep.
our first impressions are rock solid usually, because it's that first impression that we put as a label. This is an unknown box. Everything else goes under what I perceive right now as this particular being. And I put all
Right.
kinds of things that will describe it even better over time.
Yeah.
Right.
But that first impression is the label on the fucking box. And that's how our memories sort of associates. And inadvertent things usually come from subconscious level thinking, which is
Yep.
those little boxes trying to get out to the consciousness. And that's like what Leo was saying, when we're not into that higher conscious self and awareness of a deeper understanding of self, we will be reverting back to what is the Freudian and psychological aspects of the id and this, and your subconscious and your conscious thinking and the way they interfere with each other. We have to be aware of that in order to avoid the programming and all of the predictive programming and all of the word play. And that's the thing with Obama. It's just that there were so many lies in the middle of all that. You don't know what anything was a truth or not. And then you got Hillary going, well, you've got my public position and you've got my private position, which means that she just tells people whatever the fuck she thinks they want to hear, which is just not right. And that's the world we live in today. There is no basis of truth anymore. And that is worrisome because it starts with us. We have to be true to ourselves. We have to tell ourselves and be, look, I'm a fucking drunk ass motherfucker. I need to fix that shit. Okay. Or, I do this stupid shit on a repeated basis. I've had this problem over the last 10 years and 10 years before that and 10 years before that. How do I break that cycle? You have to recognize that cycle first and to understand the internal programming that you've had. But yeah, it's hard to get out of that box. So I'm sorry, I was ranting.
In avoiding a trap.
No, but that's it. That's just exactly it. And it does take hard work. That's why a lot of people try to avoid like the shadow work. That's basically what that would be, is truly understanding your tool, all the things that you've brought in here. Why do you feel like that? What first initially gave you, what put meaning to that feeling for you?
Well, that's what psychologists do. Psychologists never tell you what you should do. They don't give you advice. They ask you questions to allow you to find out what your best solution is, for you to identify what the problem is. For example, in Alcoholics Anonymous, they always say the first step to getting better is recognizing you have a fucking problem.
Yep.
At that point, you can start getting better. Until then, you're just lying.
And it is that way with everything, not just addictions. It's with everything, and you have to pay attention to that. So, that's the, what are they trying to tell me? What are they selling me? Is it propaganda? When you're watching the news, remember who you're watching, right?
And never think that they're when I was a kid, I used to watch TV and go, oh, yeah, that guy's got my back. Oh, yeah, he's got my best interest in mind. They're just trying to educate us and make us more informed than the Russians or the Chinese, and America's great and because we know all this stuff. And they've been telling us all this stuff. And then later on, you find out they've just been feeding you a bunch of horse shit.
Right. And they just change with whatever people want to hear. I mean, here's a perfect example. I'm going to go back to Hillary Clinton. But back when her husband was the president, we're looking at the 90s now, early 90s. He was
successful
the president.
Time. I love the U.S. at that time. God,
right. But see, now the idea of abortion to the Democratic Party was a very distant thing. They were like the right is now, where they talked about abortion as being bad, and she came out and spoke to that at the time, that she was anti-abortion, and this was why. That was because the majority of the population of the United States at the time was anti-abortion. We had just had Roe v. Wade 20 years earlier. So it was, or 30 years earlier. 10
years.
So it was just 10. I thought I was thinking
it was 72.
That's what I thought. It was 72, right? So
then we had Clinton was what, 92?
Yeah.
No, 90. There was an election. Bush was gone in 92. Yeah.
Yeah. So Clinton was in office then. So this was right around 93, 94, his second year in, when she said this. And then you come forward to where she's running for president. Now we're looking at 2016, right? As opposed to 19. Now all of a sudden she's pro-abortion.
She's fine with the gays.
And she was on a radio show.
She's fine with whatever,
She was on a radio show, and the host of the radio show is trying to throw her a bone. Right. And this is how stupid Hillary is. She was not cognitively aware of what this woman was trying to do, although it was completely obvious. So the woman says to her, I remember that back in 1994, you had made this comment, and they play the soundbite, right? So I watched it on video version. So they played the video of her talking anti-abortion. And then she says, and now you're pro-abortion. So the woman asked her this question, isn't it possible that you have been pro-abortion your whole life, but back then you, because of political climate, being the first lady, you felt like you couldn't voice that, and so you said that you were anti-abortion, and
She was
then
pro-abortion.
now you're
She eats
voicing your true
babies and
opinion.
drinks their adrenochrome.
Right.
Hey, watch
There's
it.
some truth to that, but
And you know what she said? Her answer to that was,
And then you tell your
That one-
stories along
No,
with
we
it.
can talk about that one a little bit.
her answer was, no, I've never changed my mind on abortion.
Yeah.
She says, I'm exactly the way I am now. She said, but you voiced your opinion in 94 and said that you were anti-abortion. She said, no, I didn't. They played the video of her, and she still said, no, I didn't. I don't know what you're trying to do. You're trying to catch me in something.
Dude,
She doubled
I know
down
you're like
on her
expecting that
bullshit.
they're going to
Yeah.
just be like good people, but
Exactly.
we're dealing with narcissist
It's kinda crazy.
psychopaths.
They
Yeah.
double
Really, that's
down
what we're
on
dealing
that.
with.
That's why they
Their
call it
lies.
clown world, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
clown world.
they
They will keep lying and doubling down and doubling down and doubling down on the same shit that everybody knows they've done.
And
You've
we
seen
keep
it
calling
happen
them out
in
on
the
their
past
fucking
few years,
lies.
but it's been happening.
Look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden
ages.
was he was pro-racism. He was
Mhm.
or he was
Continues to be a
pro-segregation.
racist.
Right? He was hanging out with the KKK, leader of the KKK, voting with the
Yeah.
leader of the KKK, 40 years in office, and he was always against black people and everything. And then all of a sudden,
Turning
he's
schools
the
into
savior. If you don't
jungles.
vote for me, you're
Are
not
you
black.
talking about Joey B?
Yeah,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about Sippy
Oh.
Cup Joe. So for
It's
40
weird to
years
see
of
my
his
it's
career,
weird
of
to
his
see my
life,
mom talking about
Mm.
how proud she is of a president. I'm like, really? You
What
taught
the
me about
fuck?
civil rights. Like, you really
Yeah.
that? I mean, my mom's in that too. I mean, she's
Right.
kind of in that. We're all
Well,
in
see-
it to a certain
well,
level.
see-
but
well,
see-
that's
see, my
that's
point-
what
See,
that's
I
what
got
Mona-
out of the U.S. I got out of the U.S. I mean, I came in '97, man. So I've been here for half my life, 25 fucking years. And you have to be outside to be able to see it, because my entire family that I see back in that programming,
Yeah.
they all, I mean, some of them drank the Kool-Aid a lot more than others,
right.
you know,
Right,
but,
right.
Yeah.
but they all drink some kind of Kool-Aid. And I see my
Mhm.
family in Mexico that they also drank the Kool-Aid. They drank their own fucking version of it, but they
Yeah,
drank the fucking Kool-Aid.
mhm.
And
Hit that like button, y'all out there watching. Hit that like button, please. Like,
and
subscribe.
share it
out.
out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Share it
you
out.
off.
Share it out. Share
Carry
it out.
on.
No worries. No, but they all drank the Kool-Aid. And if we remember Jonestown, we remember what's in the Kool-Aid. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we got a lot of fucking people that took the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it hurts because I've got to be angry with people that I love. No, I
Yeah.
can't. They made their choices on the information that they had. Unfortunately, they didn't have all the information because they don't have time to pay attention to that. They got 1-2 sources and they trust it, and they put their life in the hands of those 1 or 2 sources, and then they live their lives in whatever, existential reality they've programmed for themselves, and they can't get out of that maze.
Yeah.
Well, and here's
But
another
I'm crazy
example.
because I tried to. I mean,
Here's
I'm
another example that goes
fucking
back
beach
to
bum.
what what we're talking about, what Normal was talking about, where people, with them sneaking the information into your brain and you're not realizing. And this is what Mike is talking about as well, right here. So here's a perfect example of this. Now let's ask the question, right? Let's ask the question about the Hillary Clinton in 2016 and that whole thing. And I want to say something that I think I've said once on air. I was in a chat room, and I can't tell you what chat room I was in. And a person said in this chat room, and this is in 2016, before the election, okay? And during the debates, and I'm in a chat room, and this guy in the chat room said this. He said Hillary Clinton was sitting around with her team and said, what is the biggest problem that we're going to have going forward running against Donald Trump? What is Donald Trump going to do? And so their think tank came up with, he's going to hit us with our connections and ties to Russia. So Hillary said, then I want to hit him on that before he can hit us on it. I need that to happen. And it needs to happen now. And the man said that exactly what has been surmised since then. This is prior to any knowledge of a dossier. He said Hillary Clinton is paying to have somebody write evidence, to make up evidence about Donald Trump that he is in collusion with the Russians because of, and this is where everybody in the world has no idea unless you've already known about this, because of uranium-1. Do you guys know what that is?
Well, she sold off, like,
She spied on his campaign. She spied on him. I mean,
No, it's worse than that.
piggybacked off
but
the
she
Uranium
also
CIA
one.
chose him.
surveillance.
She also chose him. She's
It's
like,
worse.
okay,
It's
if I
worse
need
than
to
that. This
fucking
is the
someone that I
cause.
can beat.
This is the cause for
Hold
the
on.
suspicion. Back prior to when Barack Obama was in as the president of the United States and Hillary
40%
Clinton.
of our fucking uranium reserves sold
Yep.
to Russia.
Yes.
What the
Yeah.
fucking kind of treasonous
Okay.
bullshit is that?
So-
Nobody called her
So
out on that
Barack
fucking crap.
Obama and Hillary Clinton at the time brokered a deal with the Russians, especially Hillary Clinton, broker a deal with the Russians to sell them. This is what Mike is talking, 24% of America's uranium. And they couldn't sell it directly to the Russians. So what the Russians did was the Russians bought a company in Canada that could transport uranium from the United States into Canada, and they sold it to that company who took it into Canada and then shipped it to Russia, and then Russia shipped it to Iran. And that's what Iran is using right now to build nuclear weapons. Hillary
And of
Clinton
course- and of
made
course there was a-
$45 million.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There wasn't a deposit.
$45 million went to
All right,
Hillary
hold on a
Clinton.
second.
for
Hold
that.
up, hold
The
up.
Clinton
See what I'm
Foundation,
talking-
right?
This is a
Clinton
complete
Foundation
neuro.
always gets it.
Hold on, let me talk for a minute. You guys really believe that anybody in power? Do you think that all of them are cashing in?
Yes.
Really,
Yes.
all of them.
Yes.
And we're getting this right now. I feel we're getting sucked into a story or these other stories that really, we pretty much need to know and be. Yeah, we need to be cynics when it comes to this. We need to be hopeful and fix it. But I feel like all of them are putting on a show for us. This is Clown World. That's what the name of this show is, or this particular show is. All of these guys are playing us. You think that they're all unhappy? No, those guys are all rich and they're doing their thing and they're doing whatever they have to make money. And their craving for money is insatiable. It will never be filled. All of them. Like, let's put it like
It's
I've always
not
got to
money,
bring
it's
that balance
control.
back because I do believe
They
that
want control.
I've
See,
seen
this is
all
the thing.
different Republicans and Democrats come in.
Yes, I
But
agree.
what,
And this
but what
is
they
like
want, it's not the
fucking
money.
bread
They
and
already,
circuses,
they
man.
already, they already have all the fucking money. What they want
Yeah.
is beyond money. They want control.
They want
Yeah.
us. Yeah, they
Submit,
want,
and so the only way, the only tool that we have is to not comply.
yes.
Right.
You want me to do something? Fuck you. I'm free.
If somebody's
I do
willing
what
to
I'm
fight
going
for
to
what
do.
the people want, you're good. You're doing the job you're supposed to.
Right.
Individual sovereignty must be won
Yes.
on an
Yeah,
individual
it has to
basis.
We need to be taught that from like itty bitty, right? Like,
But we
really,
get pulled away
it's-
with like Ukraine and all that. Come on. We've been dealing what it used to be North Korea, and that'll be coming up when they have to, or
It
somewhere
is.
in the Middle East. There's
Right,
going to be a
agreed.
terrorist attack, or
Agreed.
ISIS.
They-
We've
yeah, they
got
put
ISIS.
on the
I mean,
show.
Well, actually,
look
hold
over
on.
here. Look
Hold
over
on,
here.
hold
They
on.
put on the show, right? And
Yeah.
they pretend that the Democrats and the Republicans are at odds when they're not.
Yeah.
When they're actually working together
Aaron,
behind the scenes to make
Aaron,
this shit happen.
You
right?
said either or in those three scenarios. It's not going to be either or. It's going to be and one after the other. It's going to be Ukraine as a false flag. Actually, the CIA doing that fucking bullshit to
Oh, yeah.
dude, they're supporting straight up Nazism, dude. Like this
they
whole
are
Nazi
Nazis.
right.
But
Yeah,
they are.
they-
Just look at
The
Operation
government is
Paperclip.
connected to Nazis, and America's
is.
like
Yes.
wants to come in and
And they
you
have
know,
been. Operation
sounds
Paperclip,
like-
the CIA,
Yeah.
and everything else. They're all fucking
Yeah.
psycho sons of bitches.
Crazy,
I just
man.
feel like
And-
anything we're doing militarily right now at this moment is
No, it's all
gotta be
induced.
questioned. Like,
It's all induced, and
That's
it's all to
that's
create
just
something else.
there
The
to
problem
lower
is,
the population and keep people in the fear.
we're like trying to
Fair
wage
play.
war with everybody, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, well,
man.
see,
It's
the thing
cartoon
is
world.
yeah,
yeah, but they don't care because they think they're going to be safe. Everybody else is dead, but they'll
Well,
be
yeah,
safe
well,
because
they-
they're the
they
one
kind of-
pulling the strings.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
well-
though?
And Putin
Here's
did
the-
come out and say, "I'm not doing anything," and who knows? Russia
Yeah.
might be, but there's no
He's
proof
not.
to show that.
He's
These are the
not.
kind of things we need proof
It's
Yeah.
all a fucking psyop.
It
Yeah,
is.
well,
It
because,
is.
to
I mean,
for-
yeah.
to get
I
us to
mean,
forget
is.
about a goddamn laptop that's going to prove that half the
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
government
Three.
sold
Well, let's
its
be
ass
real.
out
I mean,
to
if I
the
have some
fucking
country
Three
enemy.
laptops.
putting up on my
Three
border, I
laptops.
might like want to go see what's going on too.
And
And
the
if
last
it's-
one has
Three.
emails him selling himself to the
Yeah.
CCP.
3 laptops, not 1 but 3. 3 laptops.
Well, and
I
those
just-
things
I
that
just
those,
saw the
those ones
soundbite
that go
from the
away,
guy.
they're like, I'm not going to say it, but it's PG is what it's called. I mean, you got to put it together. This happened back
I remember I have
2016.
on my show, if you guys go back in my archives to when that first thing hit about the Hunter Biden thing and the laptops, I saw that
2020,
I had
there
the,
were
I
8
had the
channels
insider.
taken off of YouTube because of that laptop.
Yes,
8
I was
news
my
channels
show
that I
was deleted
followed.
3 times. I have
Well, yeah,
not
The
my-
New York
not my
Times
entire
was
has to become
censored.
president.
channel.
The New
luckily.
York Times was censored for a story they put
Yeah.
out on it.
Okay, so check this out. At the time, the Chinese,
Post.
I had a
The Post.
Chinese insider,
Post.
and the Chinese insider was telling the whole world that they had 3 hard drives, and everybody was like, "But there was only 1 computer." No. The guy who said that he received the computers from the guy from the computer program place walked in with 3 MacBook Pros. Okay. So he had 3 MacBook Pros that were juniors shit, and on all of those was a lot. I've seen not all of it because some of it you can't see because they're not showing it, but I saw most of what was on the dark web of the pictures. Some of them are out. So Fox Plays now with him smoking dope, having sex with hookers, and all that stuff, and doing dope
And
with the
spending
hookers.
$30 million in order to
Yep.
give crack pipes to,
I mean, dude, like
yeah,
that's what we're talking about. Like,
underprivileged people.
how do people like Biden? Like, I try to figure that out. I'm more left. I'm
Well,
like
actually,
left
they
center
don't because
or left
56%,
libertarian, whatever you want to call it.
but
you
they
know, I
don't
mean,
because
you wanna put me in-
56% of them want him out.
Mhm.
They don't
Right, but
like
here's
him.
what you have to
Nobody
understand,
fucking
guys.
likes
Here's
him.
what you have
But
to
it's all a
understand.
control issue.
Here's what you have to understand. Okay, Kamala Harris, when she was in the state of California, her approval rating was less than 30%. When she got, you have to understand that when the people who vote,
She got 2% on the national poll.
right,
Dude,
and that's
she's-
you have to understand when the number people think everybody in the country votes. Only less than a third of the population of the United States actually votes.
They've
So what's
all but
happening
admitted
is,
that too, and still
what's
feel like
happening
they win
is
these
they
things.
get 100% of the Democratic vote, and that's only 1/3 or less of the population of the United States, but no one else is fucking voting. Okay,
Right.
so all you guys out there that are bitching and pissing into the wind, you didn't vote, and now you got this.
I
don't-
have
no,
never
no,
voted
no,
a
no, no,
single
hold on,
day
hold
in my
on.
life.
Hold on
And
one
I will
second.
explain why.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
This little circus that you're playing me when this president can come in and he's talking this and this and all this different thing, but when I come in here and you're in there, his thing became you're just doing his
you
thing.
all just
and
like handed the torch.
it's
I
the
don't
Olympics, and you
believe in
pass
the
the
voting
torch.
because
It's
we
never,
don't have
ever-
control of the voting machines.
And I don't wanna play the
voting
game.
is a farce. It's not. It
I
doesn't
do
work.
not-
Hold on. As far
Right,
as the
but-
grand
see-
scale, yes, it's all controlled and everything else. But what you do have to do, and this is one thing that I've been touting for weeks and weeks now, your community. Vote on your
yes.
city council, vote on your personal mayor, know
Well,
those people
yeah.
personally, hold
Mhm.
them to account. If you actually vote for a representative, call his ass on a weekly basis and tell him, you are my employee. I gave you
Yeah.
my vote
That's right.
because you represented this. Now keep your fucking word. That is
Mhm.
our job as the bosses of this fucking game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they recognize
Right.
that, which
They
is
want us
why
to
they
play
try
their game, and
and
maybe
lie.
we can play
Now-
our game.
I want
Listen,
to
and that's
respond
what we have
also
forgotten.
to what
We have
Aaron and
forgotten that
Norma
we've
said.
hired these
All right.
people
I want to respond as
kind
well.
of give us space to do things,
I
right?
voted.
Yeah.
The very first time I voted was when I could vote the very first time. That was the last time I voted.
Yeah.
Until this last election, actually until 2016.
I was really close
Yeah,
a
look what's
couple of
happening.
times,
You
dude.
still got robbed.
I was really
You know what I'm
close.
saying? Like
but-
it's
well,
they
no, in
decide
2016
who's
I
gonna
voted
be
for
there.
Donald Trump.
Trump
Donald
was
Trump
the
got into office.
battering ram, and this
Yeah.
whole supposed, which he's whatever, he's different face, same bullshit from
Yeah.
all of them.
Well, I understand that, but here's my point. This is my point. If you do nothing and say, look,
yeah.
they're just
You
in
definitely wanna
charge
take
and
action,
they're
right,
both
yeah.
the same people, so I'm not going to play the game, which is what I did like a hippie most of my life,
Yeah.
then what happens is
But the
nothing
police
will
have
ever,
laws to-
ever change.
And
ever.
the police have
Because
laws that
you're
they
allowing
enforce, they
them
bust your
to
door
just
down.
pass the torch, and you know about it, and you're angry about it, but you're not doing
But
anything.
voting, they
But
just
you're
about
saying
skew
not
my
voting
numbers
is not
and they
doing
like pick
anything.
their
But when
person
has voting
anyway,
ever got you
and
anywhere?
I'm gonna go stand in some line for
Because
6
voting
hours
is a
for them
fucking
to
farce
tweak
and
my
it's a
number
show.
and
It's
take
a
it away.
show. It doesn't matter matter,
I
dude.
do say
Maybe
things,
local
you
governments,
know?
but it doesn't
Yes.
matter. Like when you
No,
can break into a
this is
voting
where you're
machine,
wrong, Aaron.
when
This is
when
where
they're
you're
owned
wrong.
by
You're right.
Mhm.
certain Democratic
companies.
operatives or people that have a lot of money,
Yeah.
and they don't let you see them and look into their software.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't have, if we don't get election integrity, because I believe a vote can work.
It
Yes.
can. Yes.
Okay,
But
Okay,
I
so
don't
wait,
believe
let me
we
ask
have
you a
the
question
integrity.
then. Hold on.
Right.
You're going down the road and you're just spouting a bunch of stuff, yada yada yada. Let me ask you
Hold
a
on,
question
hold
then.
on.
No,
hold on.
I'm not.
He's
let me
right.
ask you this
I'm
question.
talking about real shit
I
that I
might
can
have to look
cite.
He's
up
right.
the sites.
And that's
Like, I
also
can
true
cite
because
Then let me
Arizona is
ask a
about to be
question.
certified.
Then
Arizona
let
is
me
about to be
ask a
certified.
question.
Go
Instead
ahead.
of keep talking, you guys are just talking over me and you're just
I'm
going on saying the
listening.
same thing. Shut up for a fucking minute and answer my question then. You say you want voter integrity. How do you think you're going to get that without telling someone you want voter integrity?
But why is it their job to get me my voter integrity?
Because they've already taken it from you and you have to
No,
get it
no,
back.
no, no, no. I didn't give it to them.
Okay,
I've not
so,
given them
so
my
wait,
vote
wait.
yet.
Then
That
let
was
me
the
ask you
politicians
this.
that we all voted
Wait,
in or were all
Wait, then
selected
let me
in.
ask you this. You didn't give them any permission. You didn't vote for anything, right? How's that working out for you? Do you have your
Oh, well,
freedom?
you know,
How's
I,
it working
Or
out for
do you
you?
have a
How's it working
totalitarian
out for you,
government that's
bro?
in charge? Do you have
no,
people
I
ripping
don't
off
answer
the
to anybody.
entire planet
I've
and doing
never been to jail.
atrocities?
I've never done anything. But that's not because I sit there and
I don't
follow the
believe in
rules
masters.
and
That's
do
the
what they
whole
tell
reason.
me to
Like
do.
those people aren't
It's
in
because
there
I'm a good
helping us, dude.
person that has enough
I
values and enough
agree with you,
integrity
but the
to not
problem
find myself in
is
those positions,
I
right?
agree with you, but the problem is if you don't do anything and get
But I
involved
do.
anywhere,
That's the whole thing. I take that personal accountability and responsibility.
But
but that
voting
is not
I
isn't
going
make
to
doing
change
sure
the
something.
world.
I'm
It's
doing
not
Doing
going to
something to
change
help
it's a
my
waste of
community.
time.
Only
I'm
gonna
helping
change
my
you.
neighbor if they
Sorry.
need, you know what I mean?
It's a waste of
Like,
time for what I've seen
But
over the years.
to hand over that kind of power for me to go and say it's okay for you to make my decision. I trust you enough to do that. I'm sorry. And maybe it comes down to trauma issues from a whatever. Here's the thing. I trust no one enough with my livelihood to say, go do your job, please. Thanks.
Okay, so let me explain this to you. So what they're doing without your permission is already affecting your life. You're paying
Well, yeah,
twice the
yeah.
amount that you were paying a year ago for gasoline. That's going
Yeah.
to continue. You're paying
Yep.
twice as much as for everything that your gas,
If
your
I choose to go
fuel,
to the grocery store and use the
everything, your
vehicle and
grocery
use their
store,
systems, yes, you're
everything.
right. It does affect me.
Okay, so unless you're living off the grid where you're growing all your own food, and you're
Right.
making your own fuel to drive your car, and you're doing
Yeah.
all that stuff for yourself, you're dependent
your
on
Yeah,
what they're
community.
no,
doing.
I'm
So
not
it affects
dependent
your
I'm
on
life.
not dependent on the
I'm
government.
still
dude,
making a
for anything,
choice
for any of it.
to
Like, I'm not. I
utilize
don't
their
depend on the government.
systems for those things. Otherwise, I could make the choice to do the extra work
Hold on.
to go make my own bread or raise a
What?
cow.
Hold
Not
on,
to
You
say
see what
that-
I'm saying?
hold on.
Like,
Yeah,
Not
hold
to-
on,
it's
hold
all
on.
choices.
Hold on.
Babe, you're going off. Look at her. She better want to talk for a while.
It's all choices.
No, it's just that Dion. I won't go there. Anyway.
You already did, bro.
Anyway, the thing about our choices and responsibility, we can try and be off grid and try and not. But you say that you're not dependent on the system because you're not getting anything from them. But having lived in 3 different countries and understanding, I haven't voted anywhere, and I have the right to vote in 3 different places, and I haven't voted anywhere because I agree with you. Fuck that shit. But you can never change a system from the outside. You can only
No.
change
Right.
it from the inside. But
Right.
even on the inside, they corrupt you to a point to
Yep.
where you
The
can't
inside
change
is
it unless
harder.
The
you
inside
You can
hurts,
change
yeah.
it a lot easier
But
from the outside. Changing
no,
a
you
different
can't.
system.
Changing the
Yes.
only way that we can do, for example,
Change the
economic
system.
systems. But
You
hold
have
on,
a
it's
congruent
not
one that
it's
people
not
prefer.
easy whenever you've got a globalized control system.
And that's
Okay, and
true.
this is where I'm talking about, and this is something that I brought up. I don't know if it was
Been
on this
working on
channel
it
or
for
another
years.
one,
Yeah, I get
but
it.
whenever we look at cycles like economic cycles, they're called the Kundiev cycles, and they run in 500-year series. Whenever you see new economic systems develop, they usually develop in the vacuum of the control of the previous systems. Where those systems didn't have control, new modalities and new realities surged that when the other system collapsed, those new modalities were
Right,
able
took
to
over.
grow and
Yes.
eventually take over. Okay, so every time you have a vacuum, you'll be able to create a new system. The problem with the current system is that they are allowing no vacuums whatsoever because it is a global control system. So the only way that you can actually do that is by creating your own vacuums, and you can't do it by yourself because individuals will die.
Right.
We are social creatures. It's about
Yep.
creating a local community. It's about making sure that your mayor
I agree.
isn't a twisted fuck. It's about
I
your
agree.
city councilman isn't going to be passing laws to make sure that you've got a radar trap set up right outside your fucking house to where you're paying fines every fucking month
Right.
because you
Right.
decided to go 35 and a 20. You know, you vote for your local community so that your life isn't affected badly. You're not paying 15% sales tax, or that you've got to import your energy needs from somebody else that is going to be jacking up the price at the worst fucking time possible when you
And then
most need it.
Yep.
And that's
agree.
what they're doing. So the only
Okay,
way to
so
do that is
then
by
let me
local
ask, then let me
community.
ask this question,
Yeah,
Mike.
you have to recognize when that's
Now-
happening and then be willing to go
Right.
in there and say, hey,
Now let me ask this question. Okay, Mike is 100% right. So if you have to understand this now, who becomes the president? Who becomes these people in Parliament or our House of Representatives and who becomes those people? They start out when they join a local city council, and then they start getting corrupted because nobody's stopping them. So they become the mayor, and then they become the governor, and then they become a congressman, and then they become the president. They keep moving up. And where did it start? It started at a level on the street level where everybody is. And here's my point. If you don't know, and this is what Mike is getting to, it's civics. You need to learn civics, because this is what Mike was explaining. If all of us do our due diligence, right? Aaron, you guys are in Utah. I'm in
Yeah.
California. Mike is in
Right.
Brazil. We're in 3 different places. If I'm
Yeah.
hot on my ass chasing around the local guys who are just starting their lives in politics, and I'm keeping their asses straight like you do with a kid, with a child, when you don't let that
Yeah.
child grow up to be an asshole, you do the same thing with your politicians. You start weaning them and keeping them in check and keeping their ear to the ground
At
and
the
keeping them
local
honest
level.
at the low level.
Yeah.
When they grow up, if you constantly keep checking them, and everyone does that on their own with their due diligence, you don't have to wait for the government to collapse, because you're now you're making the government for the next 20 years from now. That guy is going to be in the government. And if everyone does that in every fucking city, everywhere across this fucking land, in 20 years from now, the governmental system that is in place today will no longer be there. It will be, but the people in charge will no longer think the way they do, because we all kept them fucking honest when they were babies, when they first started their political career. And the only way you can do that is to get involved with your neighborhood, pay attention to what your school board's doing, pay attention to what your city mayor's doing, the city council's
What are
doing,
they teaching
and
your
check their
fucking
fucking
kids?
ass then, and vote
Right.
them
See, and
out of
that's just-
office
yeah.
then.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'm at the point now where I'm like, God, my grandkids don't need to be going to public schools.
Well,
Right?
well,
Like, I'd
Think
rather
about that, bro. Think about the stuff
Yeah.
that when I was first married, okay, my wife had a
But I
son. He
went to
was 10
public
years old.
school. I got
when
a
I
great
married him.
education.
He was in
That was
public
because
school.
my community focused on
He's
education.
35 now. So if you go back 25 years ago, I was saying, what the fuck is going on with these schools? They're indoctrinating our kids. I was called
Yeah.
a conspiracy theorist and a cultist, and I needed to shut the hell up. And I said, does anyone
Right.
fucking see this but me? No one saw it. Now, all of a sudden, because that shit was left to go rampant for 20 years, now we have what's going on with the kids and all the fucking, these fucking teachers unions. And it's because nobody checked them 25 fucking years ago. And I said, what the fuck is going on? There was like me
Yeah.
and 3 other people. But now it's come to a head, thank the gods, because now you have, on a grassroots scale, there's people in a state that just removed 3 people from their council, from their local teachers union council, and they're going to fire 4 more off of the teachers union. Thank the fucking gods.
But about 6 months ago, we saw that entire city educational school board was eliminated and replaced that very instant. The entire fucking school board was run out by the voters.
Good.
They said, y'all ain't doing our shit. We're voting right now. Y'all are gone.
So
And if some of
my
y'all, and there was
point
another
about-
one where
Right.
the
my point
mayor
about
came in.
voting, guys,
There was
my
another one
point
where the
about
mayor
voting
came
is
in and
that.
he said, you guys are doing child abuse, and if you do not resign, you will be arrested.
Yeah,
And
really?
that was
Where the hell
another
was that?
city.
And that
Texas
needs
or
to happen
something?
everywhere in the
We've
United
got,
States
I think
right
a
now.
few here in Utah that have
Yeah, we've
In every
had
city.
there's a little bit
But-
of pushback here, but
yeah.
not enough.
Not
Right,
enough,
so, but I
because
do-
we're
I
not
wanna
taking
say-
responsibility.
I also want to say to both Aaron and Norma, I agree with you 100% of what you're saying, and you're not wrong. That these
Correct.
people are just fucking putting on a show, bro. I agree with
Yeah.
you 100%.
Well,
But
they're putting on
we
a show
can't
and they're
take
hurting a lot
them
of
on
people's
right
lives
now,
anyway.
right?
Yeah.
We
it's all
can
just a
we
big
can only take them
farce.
on with the
It's
voices of protest, and that's what's happening, and that's good.
Right.
Because that's waking up people to understand they need to go to the grassroots and start fucking from the ground up.
Right.
And
Exactly.
start
What I
taking
said
care
is
of
it's
taking
more
back.
of a it's more of a demonstration. I mean, I see the demonstration whole thing is about, look, like if people that can put on a good protest, like the truckers right now, the
Right.
trucker convoy
Right,
or freedom
right,
convoy,
Right?
They should
they're
be taking over in
demonstrating
the
what the
U.S.
government will do to you
right?
if you want to speak up.
Right now, they want to take away their money, their finances,
And-
everything, their security. Yeah.
I mean, I heard
Right.
Jordan Peterson the other day telling the truckers that they needed to figure out, they needed to leave.
Figure out how to obey.
We have to find that video, but I can't.
Yeah.
Seriously,
computer's
Jordan
slow right
Peterson? Holy
Yeah.
fuck. I respected
Yeah,
that
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
I respected
Well,
that guy. But
I did too
I
until I
respected
didn't
some of
like
his
him much.
views. I never
He
had,
sounded
like,
too smarmy, but he did make sense. In a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
did
ways.
you guys hear?
the smarmy
Did
stuff,
you guys
if you
hear
actually
Bill
pay
Maher?
attention to it, it makes a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Bill
Did
Maher,
you guys hear
part of
Bill
the Red
Maher?
Shoe Club,
Bill
but
Maher,
he's-
one of the guys that's like ultra left. They're calling him a right winger now
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because anyone, going against that little
because
idea
he
they're
went
selling
against
right
their
now is now, right,
ideology. And he was like,
They're
kids need to go
calling
to
everybody
school. The
what
mask
they are.
mandate is
They're calling
bullshit.
if you
And
speak
he's-
up,
Yeah.
you get.
But he is
It's
the ultimate
simply
liberal
playing that
because
right
he's
and left,
about
and
the
that's why I say
individual
when you
freedoms.
identify too much
Right.
with one thing.
Well, the truth is, Bill Maher is the ultimate liberal, but it's really sad
Yeah.
that they've gone so far right that liberalism
No.
is now or left. I'm sorry, that liberalism is considered right wing.
Because
Right.
what they've
Yeah,
done
it's
is
pretty
it's a Marxist agenda. Why? Because
Yep.
it's a combination of what was the Bolshevik Revolution, the Maoist Revolution, and the National Socialist Party in Deutschland to start taking over as well. It's a combination of all fucking three.
Well, you have to go back to
absolutely
realizing that
sick
in Nazi
fucking
Germany,
dominations. And remember
1938,
that every single one of these were the largest body counts in world history. Each one
Right.
of them subsequently a larger body count.
right?
So what are we expecting in this global fucking Marxist hit?
Right. And that's their death throes, though. So you guys have to understand that I agree that it's a game. We all know it. They're all
Yeah.
being paid by the same people. If you follow the money, you find out that for instance, fucking Donald Trump is Hillary Rodham Clinton's fucking cousin in real life.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
Okay.
Like,
So,
seriously,
so
yes.
we know that his family is her fucking family. Why do you think she makes sure
Yeah.
that she puts Rodham on everything?
Why do you
She's
think
not
that
Hillary
was
Clinton.
her
She's
little
Hillary
doppelganger
Rodham
guy? Like,
Clinton,
here,
one of
put
the
him
most
in there.
wealthy fucking families in the world. And
Right.
her mom's sister or something like that is married to his dad's or his uncle or some shit like that. So they're
All right,
fucking
buddy,
related.
fine. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
I don't know
get it.
exactly
But
what the
don't-
tie is, but they're related.
Don't be mess with my Trump boy. I mean, come on, he's
Well,
pulling
no,
this out
I'm
of
not
his shit,
saying-
Trump is
so-
not
I'm not
the,
saying
like,
that Trump hasn't made a
team boy that people
choice
seem to think.
to not
I understand
be
he's
the
made a lot of
cabal.
money, and he
right?
got that shit right on out of the government. Even like he fought them motherfuckers to pay his bills sometimes. Dude, kudos to the motherfucker. But come on, does he really deserve that much respect? I mean, let's
more
look
than
at
the
it.
other motherfucker. I mean, I considered myself a Bush exile because that guy was just fucking psycho.
Oh, Bush is retarded.
Just keep going
He was-
back. Keep
he
going
was-
back before that, and you
Yeah.
know, they don't
Yeah,
have
so-
a piece
so-
of things.
so
Nice
then-
guy. I can have a drink
Then
with
we
him.
get
They
to
have the
Kennedy
same
in the entire
agenda.
beginning.
They had the
Then we
same
get back to
global
Kennedy.
agenda. You have to realize that both
Kennedy
Bushes,
was the last free president.
yes, and he was supposed to have the agenda. He was supposed to be toting the party line because he was a Kennedy. That's why they assassinated two
Yeah.
of them and set up a third so that he would
Yeah,
shut
they
the
don't
fuck
like
up.
the Kennedys.
Right.
No, they're a
No,
cabal
because
themselves.
it's
trust me.
Yeah,
Kennedy.
right.
They're part of a
Kennedy-
cabal
Kennedy-
too. But
The
Right, no.
Kennedys were
They were,
mafia.
yeah,
and
they
used
that's what I'm
to
saying.
were
use the mafia.
on the
don't meet
end,
your
they were
heroes
on
'cause
the
you won't like
ends
them.
with the cabal. They were
Yeah,
the
but hold
cabal.
on.
They were on the ends with the cabal. But
But
then
when
they
Bobby
wanted
and
to-
Jack got in, they
Yeah.
wanted to clear up their dad's fucking bullshit because they
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
agree with their dad and their granddad that were
Right.
twisted
Right.
fucks.
Yeah, they really
And
wanted
they
to change
actually
some
wanted
things.
to do shit
Right.
good. And
Right.
they
Yeah.
had the big brother and the little brother taking over justice in the land. And since they knew all the inside workings of all the fucking mob bosses and everything else,
Yep.
because their
Little
daddy
smoke
and
break, guys.
granddaddy set
Be right
them
back.
up.
Yep.
You know,
Hey, hold
they-
on. I'm sorry that I cut you guys off. I'm sorry I got a little spirited, but
No, it's
nothing,
okay, brother.
Hey,
We
that's
both
what-
nothing
that's
with
the
steel
same
will. I
thing.
just get passionate. That's all
I
it
did.
is.
I started cussing at you guys, bro.
No, but
I
told
told
you
you
to
we
shut
got a
the fuck
retreat
up.
in the link, dude, and we're
Hey, but hold
we're
on.
gonna do a
It's-
retreat right now.
I'm sorry for that
it's
too, brother.
Skull fucking Island. It's not a
Right.
fucking retreat
Yeah.
right now. It's Skull fucking Island. So kiss
Right?
my ass.
Right.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
go smoke
I
the
was just
fucking
circling
cigarette.
and firing across the bow, bro.
No shit. No, go
No,
smoke
and I
the
do.
fucking
I do
cigarette,
that out
dude.
there
No worries.
sometimes, too, and I'll-
You got to think about getting an outdoor studio so you don't actually have to go
Dude,
outside.
outdoor studio is cold as fuck. That's
Right
why
now.
Yeah, he's in Utah right now. It's
I don't
cold
want
as
to be
fuck
sitting
there.
outside to fucking maybe in the summer. I
At
would do
work,
it.
He's gonna go
I'll
out
do
there
it
like
before-
the
I love
nook
it.
of the
You
north.
haven't
bro.
you haven't learned from the Buddhist monks to control your body temperature to where they can
Not yet.
sit in freezing cold Himalayan weather and sit there with nothing but their robes on and feel
Like
no
I can do it
cold?
for a minute, but then, yeah, I've not yet.
That takes
taken
a lot of
full
concentration.
control
I've done
of
that.
my
I used to
mind.
work
My
outside.
nerves will get to me, and I still let body do
Yeah,
it
see,
sometimes.
that's your lack of concentration, Norma, and that's the whole thing.
Yes.
You get skittish and you go off on all these things, and that's part of what, we need to try and get a handle on, because there's a lot of fucking energy going out in all kinds of fucking directions, and that's fucking awesome. And it's just all
Right.
out there. We got to
Right.
concentrate it, control it, keep it unto
Yep.
you, and then focus it like a fucking laser.
Yes,
Boom,
and then be able to
boom,
smoothly
boom. And
translate it,
until
right?
then,
Or
you're
express
just,
it.
you've got it under control. You got all that energy just under control, and you let it out when you need to. The right words at the right time can do, like you said, the
Right.
neurolinguistics. If you know how to program the fucking brain, and my parents always used to tell me, quit cussing because it takes away from your argument, and I just
Yeah.
answered, fuck you. So, superficial people aren't going to get it anyway. If you're bothered by the fucking language, then sorry,
Right.
buddy, it's going to be too fucking deep
Right.
for you, bitch.
Well, then you got a deeper issue to deal with, right?
Thank you very much. But still, um, what the silence of snow? That is,
Yeah. Right.
it's the benefit of winter because you can actually center yourself. The
Yeah.
problem is that
Right.
many people are actually uncomfortable with their own reality and they can't be alone with themselves. And if
Right.
you're
Yes.
not okay with yourself, you can never be okay with absolutely anybody else because
That's
you're
right.
always going to be resonating that lack of interior balance. And
Right.
so that's the whole thing of the Maslow's pyramid. You get your own center of balance balanced. You get yourself good.
Yep. Yep. And
Right. And
figure
that
Then
out
takes
how you
work.
work, how your
That takes
tool is
work.
working
Yeah.
for you, and you work it to the best you can. And when you do that, when you truly understand how you work, and you start utilizing that and working your magic, and I say magic in whatever term magic is for you, right? But you work in your magic and you're in your flow and you're balanced and you're paying attention to yourself, dude. You can. It doesn't matter what's going on out in the world, man. You are fucking living the best fucking
you
life,
are
right?
in
So
the zone. You are in the
yeah,
zone, and that's where you
Right.
want to
and
be.
that's
Focused,
yeah. It's
control.
so many diagnoses are good for understanding, but so many people hold on to those things and then they give it to themselves, right? They just
Yeah.
okay. Here's why I'm like this, so I'm just gonna let it just, you know what I mean?
No, but it's not one. It's a quantum puzzle, and so there are
It
thousands of
is. It
pieces
is.
that
Well,
come together.
here's the
You
things. I
can't
mean,
focus on one thing.
hmm I was born with certain physical attributes that are just hereditary in the family that I can, go ahead and say for the rest of my life, well, it's a hereditary thing. It's just going to be a thing. And this is just what it is. And trust me, some days when it hurts like hell, I want to. But the thing of it is, though, is I happen to believe that my mind is stronger than that. And it may take me right up until my deathbed. I don't know. But I will get that back straight. My nerves will work properly. I will be in physical balance, right?
Right.
It's truly about understanding how, like I said, your tool, and every one of our minds works differently and uniquely in one way or another, maybe many ways. Knowing how yours works and understanding it is your tool, not the thing getting you through here, right? It's my mind.
Right.
Trust me. Some days I want to. Oh my god, my mind is just. I can't be in my mind today, right? Understanding though, that's my tool. It's up to
Right.
me to use it properly. And if I'm allowing it to just flood me with all this, and then my
But it will.
neurological
But
system's
hold
just
on.
not
But
on
hold on.
fire
It
because
will.
I can't
But it
quite put it
will.
all together.
But it will. But it will flood you, and it will be a constant bombardment. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
you think that this fucking cranium that got me accepted to all the fucking places that got me and got is something that shuts down fucking easily?
oh
Hell
Right.
no.
no, of
Right. No,
course
it
not.
doesn't.
And
Yeah.
so there's this constant fucking firing. But what you've got to do is one thing that my master said at one point. He said, "The evil is within you. It is
Yes.
just up to you not to let it out."
Right.
Because all those voices are telling us so many different fucking things, and we go goddamn nuts, and we just want to let everything the fuck out.
Yeah,
But then all that's destroying us internally, we end up externalizing and destroying everything else around us, and
yep,
that is the epitome and the initiator of all of the destructive vices that are in the world today. because we put our shit out there to destroy everything because we just want it to stop destroying us. When in reality, it's not destroying us. They're the
Making it
voices that
worse.
guide us, and we
Yeah.
can actually choose. No, that's not a potentiality
See,
I
that's
want.
why I
That's
say
not a
Right.
potentiality I
Right.
want.
people are
Yeah.
That one
protesting.
doesn't serve me. That doesn't serve others. That is a selfish thought. No, I'm going to put that in the garbage. No, that is a thought that is self-serving and makes
Right.
me idolize. I'm not going to put that one in. Okay, so I've got these 3, 4 options left. Okay, which one of them am I going to externalize? And then you've got those 5 little checklists. Is it good for yourself? Is it good for others? Is it good for society? Will it do anyone harm? And is it truthful? And does it really need to be out there? Is it necessary? And whenever
Right.
you get through those filters, then you've got all those energies and you've filtered them out and you've been able to reduce the fucking chaos. Because the
Yeah.
chaos is the thermal, it's the chaos within a chemical system is the heat that we sense from it. And
Yeah.
so the less chaos you do by aligning and eliminating those things that are not conducive to a healthy behavior, external behavior, when you can quiet those down by going, no, you don't serve me. No, you don't. No, this isn't what this is not, no, that's not my focus. No, okay. And you toss them out.
Right.
And you do that internally. And that's the way you can keep that explosion from being externalized. And then you
Right.
have the good things that are left over that you can integrate into your essence and grow from those. Yes, I want to be more like that. And yes, I want to be more like that. And no, I want to be less like that. And I'm going to fix my life because we can't
Right.
change anybody else. We
Right.
can only change
Exactly.
our
And
resonance with
that
others.
process, let me cut in here. And that process that Mike is talking about is literally the process of your ego and your conscience, not consciousness, but your conscience, which is the angel on your right shoulder and the devil on your left shoulder being the ego. The egoic mind is the thinking mind. And the reason I wanted to cut in here is because Denise said, sometimes I wish that I'm putting it up on the screen there, that my mind would just quiet. It's constantly going. The reason it's constantly going is because you constantly listen to it. When your mind thinks what the ego tells it to think, and it's always negative, like Mike was saying, and it's always self-serving because that's the ego, and then the ego wants you to feed towards that and feed the ego to make it bigger. So it realizes that if it talks to you in your head and you follow it and listen to it, you'll go down that road. So it tells you these things.
I've gotten to a point.
the wolf you
I
feed.
will.
Right.
It's
So
the
it takes
wolf you feed.
practice to listen to the conscience to say, no, wait, that's self-serving. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to you. And then show you the light, the different ways of, like he said, then you have what's left over are the good things. And then you look at those and you assess those and see if it's necessary to put that out there or project that to the world, or if you're just going to internalize it and fix yourself. That's the process that Mike was explaining.
Well, see, and I think though it really begins with learning how you work and really why you're holding on. Why do certain things hit me this way? Why is it that why is it that I put some kind of meaning to this thing? Where did that start?
When did that get programmed? Was that something I was programmed at birth, or did I program that? Yeah, you have to. That's the soul. That's the, like you said earlier. That's the shadow work that we all have to do. So Denise, I say to you that you need to become aware of the mind. Yeah, put that back up. Thank you. But aware of the mind, what it's saying to you, and then do what Mike just said and do what Norma just said. Be aware of it. Listen to the thoughts and find out, are these negative thoughts or are these positive thoughts that are coming into my head? And then when you hear the negative thought, just like Mike said, no, that's self-serving and negative. I'm not gonna voice that out, or I'm not gonna become that, or put that into this box that is me to present that. And you have to pay attention to that. And eventually, you stop even listening to the negative. Here you're coming in the negative. Shh. And then you only listen to the positive, and that's the secret to quieting the mind. Over time, you will then realize that when you do that, you have
your wolves you feed. The wolves you feed.
The wolves you feed. That's right.
Or the demons you feed, whatever you want to call them. Yep.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Right. So then over time, the ego, you will not need it anymore, because then you're going to have those moments where you're lucid, where you're not thinking, where you're just present and experiencing this. And when you do that more and more often.
Gratitude, because we should just be happy for being alive.
Yep.
I mean, because for fuck's sake, there's lots of people that aren't.
Right. Okay. And I love what Melissa said. Denying it makes it stronger. And that's the same outwardly. And this is why I've become a pacifist over the years. I'm not, if you come at me, I've been in martial arts since I was 8. You come at me, I'm breaking your shit off. But if you don't come at me, I'm not going to break your shit off. I'll only do that to
Right.
defend myself like a Shaolin monk. I've always taken that standpoint, that ideology of only for defense purposes only in martial arts, what I've learned. So people say, well, show
You're
me.
using their energy against them. So
Yes.
they come at you with negativity. Boom. You're just using their negativity to throw them off of you.
Like
because
Mr.
it's got nothing
Miyagi,
to
right?
do with
Like Miyagi
Boom.
go judo. It's the art of war. No, don't be there. You move. That was how Lancelot
Like
got his
Bruce Lee
name.
said, be like water, man. Be like
Be
water.
like water, man.
If you have to crash down, you crash down. If you have to be calm, you be calm. If you have to get around an obstacle, you go around it. If you have to go through it, you go through. You be like water. You can be powerful.
I like Jackie Chan's version of using anything as a weapon. Stairs, a mop, a chair, whatever it is, you can beat the fuck out of somebody with anything.
Your mind.
So just be calm and know that motherfucker's going down. Just don't let him bring it on. And you
Right,
always
so
try and de-escalate.
I
Because
also want to
I always hear how the intonations, because physical violence starts with verbal violence, and verbal violence starts with an escalation of their tone. Because as people get louder, they are getting more spiritually, internally violent. They're getting angrier, and they are losing respect for the other. And so when it becomes a shouting match, then it's nobody respecting anybody. It's everybody wanting to dominate. And at that point forward, it's whoever throws the first punch, and then it's on. Okay, then it's survival of the fittest and that sort of thing. And some people actually induce that in order to know, okay, he's going to do this, that, and the other. So boom, in 3 moves, it's over, and I won.
well, and that's what they do with protesters.
In the beginning, you got to
if you're out protesting,
never let it grow.
They want it to escalate to violence so that violence begets violence. The second you say that the second you become what they want. They're like, look, there's Nazis out there and they have those evil flags. The second you portray that in any way, they're going to pounce and they're going to murder everybody. That's what they want, is that fight. Now I want to get back into what Denise is saying.
Tiananmen Square.
Because Denise said, Tiananmen Square. Then we'll go. But she said, no, it's not negative things. It's stuff that's not negative. It's her worrying in her mind. Here's the thing.
She was talking about the many things she has to do. And the thing about that is that you have to actually prioritize.
That's also still the ego.
Hold on, let Leo talk for a minute.
That's still the ego.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's still the ego. The ego is not giving you negatives. The ego is making you worry about your own positives now. These are the things you have to do. Oh my God, you have to have rent. You have the money for rent. You have to have rent. Rent's coming up. Well, I have the money for rent. I know I have the money for rent. Why am I worrying about this? Because your ego needs your brain to think to keep you on the track of listening to the ego. So even though you're worrying about things that are positive or things you have to do, I got to do the dishes, I got to go get the kids. Why are you worrying about those things? This is what Norma said. I wish she was here because she could continue with what she was talking about.
I'm sure she might be
commenting. Yeah. So when she was here, that's what she was talking about. You have to become aware. And this is what Mike said, Aaron said, and I said. The first step in avoiding a trap is knowing of its existence. You have to then say to yourself, why? What's the reason that triggered me to worry about that thought? That's where you have to get back to the base root of, and now the ego's going around the corner.
Me emotionally?
Why is there emotion attached to that? Like Aaron just said, right? So that's
Norma said.
Who's doing that? That's the ego doing that to try and pull you back because you have probably moved up to a level to where you're already not listening to the negative from the ego. So now the ego is trying to get back into your head by doing it another way. By giving you negative on things that you got to go to the grocery store and man, you got a whole list of stuff. And why am I worried about that? I always go to the grocery store. I always got a whole list. I'm always going to sit in traffic. I'm always going to have to stand in line.
Dude, I'm learning that. I'm learning that too, or learning at like different higher levels of like not playing. Okay. If you guys are poker players, and I know both of you have played poker, you never played with scared money, right? You never play with scared money. You ever heard that saying? Right. That means you don't play like you're fucking lose everything. You play with money like if I'm gonna fucking be confident and I'm gonna play it all. You know what I mean? Like I basically am starting to learn to live my life like
so that's why
I gotta go get groceries. We gotta eat dinner. Oh God, well that's gonna take that much out of my bank account. But I gotta quit worrying about those things. Like and that's what I'm working on right now. That's one of the things I'm working on is because if I just know that that's coming through and I just continue to do what I'm supposed to do and I continue to follow my path, I know that that's going to be there for me. It's coming. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? And that's where we need to get ourselves is not worrying about all the shit that could happen because shit's going to happen, dude. But you have to adjust and adapt and be that shapeshifter when it does. But until then, fucking just go surfs up. You know,
Surf's up. I just wanted to talk about the comment that you had highlighted before.
The one prior to
There's
this
a
one.
yeah, that there's a surgery coming up.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
happens is that you end up being in a preoccupied state,
yeah.
and that affects and colors everything else that you see. Because of that worry that is tainting your own perception as a negative in a general thing, because you've got so many things about the anesthesia or the doctor or what are the probabilities of this and that, and I read this study and I saw that other study and I talked to this doctor and the other doctor, and it all drives you fucking insane because you can't
Mhm.
trust a goddamn thing anymore. And that affects absolutely everything else, because what would normally be normal and routine now becomes something absurd because you're focused on this and you want to worry about this thing, but you can't worry about that thing because you're distracted by all these other things that were normal. And so these normal things become extremely bothersome, huge inconveniences that you want to not have to think about because you want to focus on that other big fucking problem that's eating you alive. And so it ends up distorting everything that you see in a negative light, and that can be extremely problematic. And one of the things that helps me, and I'm sorry for being a Bible banger like I always have, and many people will also call me out on my
don't
bullshit.
apologize for being you, bro.
But the thing is
Yeah,
that
don't
whenever
apologize
you've
for
got
being you, bro.
these huge worries that are insurmountable, remember, you were created with a purpose. There is a reason why you were put here. Every single one of us have a different perspective of creation, and we are here to give gratitude to the Creator, to the Father, for what He built here for us and He put us here to be. Okay, so with
And thy
that
mother.
Yeah,
with that gratitude of existence, you can know that there are things that are going to be positive for you and that you're in generally good hands. Why? Because also being in a good spirit and a good attitude will change your physiognomy, will change your actual chemical makeup of your body. And then one of the things that Dr. Bruce Lipton in so many of his videos taught me is that if you are more worried, you make your system more acidic. The more acidic it is, it opens different genetic keys,
yep.
because many keys within the DNA are ruled by the pH levels in which they're in. And so if your body is exceedingly acidic, it will activate different keys in your DNA than if you're more alkaline, more calm, more relaxed. You will shut those keys off and you will open other keys in your DNA to allow things to work. So the chemical balance of your body, which depends on your hormones, which depends on your mentality, which depends on your consciousness, if you can
Yeah.
control all that anxiety and reach a point of relaxation, put everything in the hands of God. He's got a plan for you and He made it. All you have to do is be able to find what that plan was for you. And it's written in your own fucking soul. It's the things that you enjoy doing. It's the people that you enjoy helping. It's the things that make you say, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Well, and I think the hardest thing for people to do, and this goes back to what Norma was talking about earlier, the hardest thing for all of us, and I know it was the hardest thing for me to do, was to get to that point where you can let go and say, you know what, even if I die, I'm going to be okay because I'm a fucking rock star and I'm an immortal soul. That's the hardest part for us
That's
to
it.
Just
get
had this
past.
conversation today with the
Yeah,
client.
right? Right?
She was wanting to talk to her husband, and I was like, yeah, but I'm going to tell you everything that your husband's already telling you. Like, I mean,
Right?
that's where we got to. Like, and I didn't say that the first part, but that's usually how it happens is
Yeah.
Right.
these things are coming to you. That's why I'm able to get them, because you're allowing me in on a personal, you're being vulnerable and saying,
Right.
hey,
You're allowed
and
to
that's
be
why
that conduit.
my job is like, I'm really taking a lot of care in it. Like, fuck, you got to be careful of what you
Yeah.
say, and how you
Oh,
say
yeah.
it.
Right.
And,
Everything.
but no, I mean, she vibed with it. She understood. She was basically talking about, wow, I knew all this. Like, why does that make so much sense? I mean, I was even talking about fractals and how you were like each of us, all of us, y'all in the
Yes.
chat, anybody who watches,
Right.
we're
Those of you listening on the MP3 file.
we're a fraction of
But see, that's how the hologram
of our
works.
true self. Like we're just a
That's how the
fraction of it.
hologram works.
Yeah.
Whenever you cut a hologram, every single piece of the hologram is the entire hologram itself. And that's how
Yeah.
fractals work in this reality. That is the proof that we
Yeah.
are holograms.
Right.
And
That's
the
just like
beauty in those fractals is incredible. And it
the
repeats
proof in that.
forever.
Yeah, here's an example for those of you guys who watch like the crazy science fiction or horror movies. The Thing, 1982,
Oh,
is a perfect
fuck.
example of that,
Dude, I
right?
remember that movie.
Right.
Fuck
So
yeah.
what?
Way to
How
bring
is
it
it
back
that
to
he
some pop
tested?
culture, bro.
Right, I know.
Fucking loving
How
it.
is it that he
Fucking
tested
professional.
who the alien was? He took some of their blood and he said, one thing that occurred to me is that every part, every piece of the alien is alive, and it is its own entity, even its blood. He says, but you see, when a man bleeds, it's just tissue. That was the line in the movie. And so he cut everybody's thumb, and he got some blood in a petri dish, and then he heated up this coil. Right, he heated up this and then you touch it there, and when humans, it would just go, nothing would happen. Right, but then when you touch it, and there was an alien DNA in there, the alien was alive, the blood was alive, and it hurt, and it responded because it hurt, and then it jumped out of the way and tried to run and hide. So that's what Mike is saying here. That's what the connection is, that in the hologram, and that's the fractal that Aaron was talking about. In the hologram, in that fractal place, every single fractured piece is an individual that has been designed and
It
created.
gets deep,
It has no
it
life.
gets really deep.
And it gets right, and that's the
Very,
dark
like, yeah.
side.
Well,
to
I
the
like
light
to
side. It's
multidimensional.
I like to put
real
it
deep.
in
Yeah.
simpler terms of just saying that anything that can and will is now, right? So you and your present to get through here in this lifetime,
Right.
all you need to do is get to that place where you understand it, you accept it, and you can put it where it needs to go. Is this something? Is this information? Is this thing that's affecting me right now something that's helping me? Is it something I need to let go? Is it something that I can utilize? But hang on, right now I still got to understand it. I need to put over here in the get to know box, right? It's understanding that everything truly is choice, right? In this realm, we've been given that gift, and even when things outside of your control that you cannot change, you can change it by the way you perceive and internalize it, right? You can take it as a lesson, because these really rotten things are happening, but I'm not going to let it affect me in this way that I'm like dwelling or falling for or getting into it, right? Like I'm not going to drown in the sea of information that I'm getting. I'm just going to
why are they
understand
bad
that it's a
things to
sea
you?
of it.
That's
I got to take
that's
that
something that I
wave
focus
and
why are they necessarily bad things? Because that's something that I face on a constant
Well,
basis
see-
where I'm at. Because things here are extremely different than I was ever accustomed to
Right.
before. And one of the things that I've had to learn is it's my perception of, because everybody else thinks it's normal
Yeah.
and they got no problems and they don't feel the
Right.
stress that I do, seeing how it's
Right.
so fucking absurd and different. And
Right.
so it's also how we perceive that stressor
yes,
and how we internalize that perception.
Or how
Yes.
I think it's more about how we cope with that stress.
Mhm.
Yes.
It really,
agreed.
and we have to have a good perception of things, and look at even at things, the darkest times that we're in right now. Remember that light is shining bright in that dark, and there's a
We
lot
are
of light.
seeing it, right?
There
is a
There's
lot
so
of
much
light out there.
You have
there
to
that
remember
we
that in
see
the
it happening.
scriptures, after Jesus left, Jesus said, I have shown you the way, but you must look up to me and come
Yeah.
to me halfway. I
See,
will
and
meet
Absolutely.
you
that's
there.
That's where I
but
get
you
like that
have to
little
come
block in
up to me.
myself,
You have to
in my
look.
brain. I
Let him
know. I'm
finish.
sorry.
Let him finish.
So
That's where my block
so
comes.
what they're saying is that we have to do our due diligence. We have to
Yes, the lesson
ascend
there. Yes,
and realize and reach back up for the light. So we have to look there and see the light. And if you don't, this is also in the scriptures, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and even in the ones that are left in the dusty tomes that we have around the world, that says that if you despise the Lamb, which we know is Jesus, then you don't even find the door, because Jesus is the key. Jesus said that to you. And it's not him. It's not Christianity. People say to me, well, you're a Christian minister and everything you're talking about is basically
it
Christianity.
is the
No.
anointed, dude.
Yes.
That's what it's the
See, and
anointed one.
That's what I was trying to
Yes.
get to, and I'm
And
sorry.
the word
I didn't
and I say to
word.
anyone who says, oh, you're a
Yeah.
Christian, you're following Christianity, look up the word Jesus and look up the word Christ in the ancient Hebrew language, and then you translate it to English now, and you'll find out what Aaron just said to you means a lot more than you thought it did.
Right.
Okay.
And we've all been anointed. We've all
Because
And
we all
that's
gotta have a
gone
hero. I
through
mean,
that
we all gotta have a
anointing.
hero to be inspired by, dude. And we have, like,
Right.
we all grew up with watching movies and Luke Skywalker.
Well, and that's part of the creation that's designed
it
in
helps
the
with
creation
that
for us to look up.
compassion, too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's designed. That's the hero of 1,000 faces. It's designed in our psyche. That's the key that unlocks us. Is that first you find that father figure, mother figure, and then you find the hero figure. Right? You're born to the mother father figure. So then are you the hero figure? Well, it becomes your job to become the hero figure because you're the born from the mother father. So even if you have 20 brothers and sisters, you guys each individually are supposed to strive to that. That's your part, your role. Right. Yeah. And then when we become adults and then we take on the role of the mother-father figure, we are now ascending up higher than the savior into the creation.
And don't we all know that by getting older, dude? Have you not noticed
right?
the last 20 years of your life? Like, whoa.
So
like,
when
you get
we're
older,
responsible
you
for children and we make them, right?
Yeah.
And the goddess, like Norma, makes a child. Now she's the goddess, and you become the god because you gave birth. You gave your life and part of you, and so did she to make a life.
The biggest awakening I ever had, bro. The biggest awakening I ever had, and I'll still tell you, like, there's something to it. There's something to the symbology. Like, it really, like, it was trying to get through and tell me this is fucking real. Yeah. So this is going to sound crazy to some of you. If you think about the Greek gods, or gods that were, worshipped elsewhere, which I think were different ones.
Yeah.
There were different, of course.
There are some that were like,
But if I was like shown a mother and father god, like both of them, like it had to be both.
Yes.
Like, yes, it started with the singularity,
Yeah.
but then that singularity became plural because that spirit wanted to create something.
Yes.
And the spirit of that first singularity wanted to create something. But it's funny because as I see it and how I felt it when I was seeing it, because I do a lot of remote viewing, I do a lot of ascending and just, I know I can't live there. I mean, I am living there.
Right.
I'm just a fractal of who I truly am.
Right.
But I connected with it, and it was weird. Like it was shown. It always goes back to Greek gods, dude. Like I don't know why, but that's like a lot of the origin story comes like that's what I'm being shown
from the West. Western culture is based on that Greek mythos.
Yeah.
So everything that we're taught from the difference between the West and the East is that Greek mythos versus the Chinese mythos, which is, the society rules and the person is subservient. That's a big East-West rivalry. Yeah. And that Western rivalry starts with the Greeks deciding that the individual
self-rule was invented by the Greeks. Yeah.
Democracy is that the individual must be respected in order for society to grow.
Right.
Which means we're still evolving.
Yes, and that in itself is the microcosm to the macrocosm, right? So if you look at this time, right, like Coolier says that the Andromedans say that we're lucky to be living in this time of self-rule because it wasn't always this way, and so it wasn't, and
sometimes it was a lot fucking worse.
Right, and right. It was a lot fucking.
Y'all heard of go out the Dark Ages.
So much.
Yeah.
I mean,
just look at 150 years ago. Think any human being born today would be able to live 150 years ago, riding horseback and doing all that fucking labor. And you wouldn't be able to sit on your ass and type.
Me and you, 50 years or even 60, 70 years ago, dude. Me and you.
Yeah.
Like
I'd be kicking some fucking ass.
Well,
I'd be
look at it
kicking
this
some
way.
shit.
During the colonies,
me 250 years ago, I'd be rocking some fucking ass.
During the time before the Revolutionary War in the United States of America, the average age of the average American was 23 years old. 23.
Yeah.
Okay. And that means and the only reason it was that high was because our founding fathers lived into their 60s. So it would have been your average age of the average American had the founding fathers not lived a lot longer, would have been less. It would have been like 17 years of age. Okay, so now the average age of the average citizen of the United States of America
I know,
is
dude.
69.
That's weird, huh? Oh, we went and visited these the road trip. It's going to keep coming up, but
it's a good one.
We went and visited these Indian ruins, and these ruins, like you had to crawl to get into them. Now I don't know. It might have been like that mud flood might have really happened and it like buried a lot of shit.
No, but they were 4 foot tall. They were 5 foot tall.
Yeah,
they were
like
short,
4 foot tall, dude. Yeah, like you had to. I had to crawl. I'm like 6'4", fucking
I only had to
almost
hunt
300
Yeah,
pounds. So I mean,
but you've
I'm
got
pretty
good
big.
nutrition and you've done
Yeah.
exercise and you've got a certain genetic build. So all of
Right.
those things come together to make
It's
you
that evolution
more.
of things, though. Yeah.
Yes, but
If
at
you
the
look
same
back when
time,
George
our mind has
Washington,
become more jelly.
when George
Okay?
Washington was alive, he
We're a
was
lot
6'1".
weaker mentally today.
Yeah.
George Washington was 6'1", and he had to duck when he walked into any building because all of the
Yeah.
buildings were only 6 feet tall, and then you had the next floor. Okay,
Oh, it's
now we
crazy,
have
man.
jacked that up to 9 feet because people are 7 foot tall and taller. The threshold to our door is 7 foot.
Well,
People have to duck
but
down
hold
to
on.
get
What
in the
about those
building.
Also,
giants, though? What about those
but
15-foot tall
but
people?
hold
I
on,
know
hold on.
I
Right?
have
Going
some
back,
belief in
Yeah.
that.
but hold on. I'll get that, Aaron. I'll get that,
I
Aaron.
think we
just
keep
want to close
going
out
like
here.
this. I think we keep
Yeah, but
going through like the
kind of
pendulum
sort of.
swings this way, we're big,
Yep.
and then the pendulum
Yes.
swings this way, and we're
And then we
smaller.
get
Not
small.
necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It has
about
to do with
the
our,
door
our
things.
level of violence and our level of spirituality.
Peace.
When we're
Yeah.
less spiritual and we're more violent, we don't live as long.
Right.
Yeah, because we do
Because
stupid
that's
shit and we
that's
destroy ourselves.
exhausting to fight, dude. It's exhausting to like
Oh,
To
fuck
be in
have
that
that
space
like
all the time.
all the
Yeah.
time. You know, we've talked about crusaders too. Like there's crusaders that don't even know that they're exhausting themselves on things that aren't even going to work. Like it's just not going to happen, you know?
They're worthless battles. But
Yeah.
exactly. But God, now I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway,
Yeah, come on.
Sorry,
don't
I know I
forget.
threw you off. You were talking about the height of people, and then he said something about the
Oh,
giants that were
no,
15
it's
feet
okay.
tall.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get to the Giants in a minute. I just wanted to close out on you
It's
talked
a
about
perception thing, I think.
no, this is genetics and it goes back to the Greek gods and
I
everything
mean,
else.
it is,
But
but
I'll
it's,
explain that.
there's a perception
But-
there too, though.
Oh well, anyway, getting back to the floors were your next floor was after 6 foot. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of true. But we raised the ceilings. Why? Because there's a lot of heat that's accumulated. Heat rises. And
Yeah.
so we want the roof higher on hotter days in hotter areas so that the heat accumulates above where we're breathing. So it
Right.
might be hot, but it's hot up there and you're still feeling the cool air down here. And then you got a
But what I'm
fan
saying is,
making
as
shit
you
better.
go up into those
So
higher
that was
dimensions and you
archaeological.
see more, and you
Right.
see more, your perception or your consciousness is more
Now,
open.
Now I wanted to get to the
People
Giants.
do appear
Just-
bigger to people that are on that lower dimension.
Well,
when you see something, you see them as big.
Well,
So
people see me as intimidating. I never understood why they said that I was intimidating because I don't come off to people. I'm
it's
not
not
wearing
Robert De Niro
you know,
or fucking Al Pacino look you always carry on your
Yeah,
face.
yeah,
dude.
right.
exactly
Right.
what.
Get a resting bitch
Sorry.
face.
I was just saying that I didn't. I know I'm not full of tattoos or anything else threatening people and that sort of shit. I try and be low key and calm and like I try not to fuck with people. I'm just peace, man, just peace. But people find me intimidating because their perception of it. It's
Yeah.
not what I do. It's simply what I am, what I've done, and
You're not intimidating. You're
Well,
just
and for
passionate
some-
and prickly, dude.
here's the
like
thing.
no,
rest
but
of us.
see, to weak people, I become very intimidating because they can't see that as a possibility. For example, one of the first teams that I coached was a team that I played against, and when I was coaching them, they said, "Holy shit! When we're playing you on the field, we thought you were a fucking monster. Now you're here." Now you're here and you're coaching us, and we understand that you are a man, and we can reach that if we push ourselves enough. It was that comprehension because on the field, I'd just destroy him. And afterwards, I'd just be, patting him on the head, going, yeah, you can get better at this, you can do that. And,
Yeah.
and the other thing. Because I
I
wasn't
love
ever about
coaching, man.
denigrating-
I love coaching.
I
It's
wasn't
so
ever
rewarding.
about denigrating anybody. I was always about building everybody up. But sorry, if you're running the ball, I've got to drop you. Because that's the fucking rules.
Fucking
Fucking
this
game.
I
guy.
gotta follow the rules, and
Fucking
you're not doing it well.
breakdown.
Just kidding.
So
No, I was a
once
football
once
coach,
yeah.
baseball
once
coach.
once the play's over, I'm not spitting on your face. I'm not stepping
Right,
on your
right.
neck.
Right.
The ref said the ball's down right there. Great, I'll help
We're
your
gonna
ass
play
up.
the game the way it should be played.
I'm gonna help your ass up, and we'll play the next game.
This is why
Play,
we
but
call it this game, and these are the rules, right?
well, exactly. And then I play the game as good as it can be played because that's what I was brought up to do every fucking game. And life is a
Yeah.
game if you
Yes,
actually look at
yes,
it.
it really is.
And so
Yes.
we create our own options and we create our own
Yep.
future possibilities. And it's like one of those choose your ending books that I read when I was
Yeah.
like 13, 14 years
Yeah,
Oh,
old.
you
remember
choose
those?
your
You
path.
had to like
Love
go to
those.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Remember those calls, man? Those
Choose
ones that you're like, okay, you can
Yeah.
choose
Choose your
this
own
one or
ending.
this one.
Yeah.
Go to
If
page
you choose this one, go to
138 or
page
go to page
47.
140.
If you
That's
choose
it.
this one, go to
dude,
page
yes.
49.
That one?
Yeah.
It had like a catchy name to him. It was like a catchy thing or a catchy
Yeah, let's choose your own ending.
term.
Yeah.
It was a catchy term for the book.
Yeah, it
was
wasn't.
Choose
I
Your
don't
Own
remember how
Ending.
to
Choose
say
your own
it, but
ending,
it
but
was,
there was another one too. There was another one that was like
yeah.
choose
I don't
your
remember
fate
what
or
it was.
choose. It was some anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I love those books. Those books were cool, but they also made me feel like I was in a Pulp Fiction film. But you know what I
Right.
mean?
Well,
'Cause
they,
you're
you know,
going
once
all
they
over the
See,
place.
translated those to computers,
my problem
that was
was
the
that I
beginning of the computer game. In the beginning, it was those go at your own pace and choose your own path. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember playing those. It was all done on a
The Oregon
on,
Trail.
on,
You remember
but
that one,
see,
dude?
yeah,
no, but,
yeah.
but
And you
see,
get to choose where
those
you're going, and then there was
those
like
books I actually
investigating
read
in a
every
mansion,
single
and you get
ending.
to choose where you're going and what you
Yeah,
look
dude.
at. And
I read every fucking ending because I got one to the end. Great. Now let's go
Yeah.
back to those other ones, and I would read the book like 5 or 6
Hitchhiker's Guide
times
to the Galaxy was
just to
that
get
way.
Oh, I
every
love that
single
movie,
one of the
dude.
fucking
Y'all
endings.
should
The
watch that
movie
if
was.
you haven't seen it.
If you haven't seen the movie,
Hitchhikers.
see it. If you haven't read the book, read the book.
You got to read the
Yeah.
book.
Guide
The
to the
book
Galaxy.
is
Book's even
so
better.
much
Yeah, the
better.
book's way better.
The
Book is so
way
much
more
better.
detailed.
Way better. Yeah.
Usually books are better.
And that one shows the nuances that we were talking about before that bombard you. He's in a bar at one point, and he has a choice to there's a dog that seems hungry, and he has a choice to feed the dog his sandwich. He can get a cheese sandwich from the bar and hand it to the dog, and he doesn't. And because he doesn't, there's a little fly that flies by, and the dog is going after the fly and goes hump and chomps the fly. Go forward in time, you find out that was a spaceship and he was in it. And if he doesn't feed the dog, he's going to die when he's in the spaceship in the future. That he's tiny in that little teeny spaceship. The dog thinks it's a fly. That was part of the story, and that is just one
He
little
didn't
teeny
feed
aspect.
the dog, and
Yeah.
he died.
Yeah.
Like before the podcast, I fed my dog because I wanted to make sure that she wasn't
did
bugging
too.
me here during the
Be right
thing.
back. I'm
I
gonna
have a
take
half
I'm gonna
hour
take a little pause for the
with you.
cause. So I'm still gonna be here.
All right, go ahead. No, Norma holds it down well.
Get deep,
Norma
get
holds
deep.
it down well. Don't
That's
worry.
what she said, right?
Do my best.
Yeah, get
Go
Oh,
deep.
fucking
right?
don't go to
Go
Red
deep.
Zone, Aaron. I'm gonna start calling you Aquaman. Calm
Don't
down,
go to
man.
Red
Calm
Zone. We're
down.
pirates, motherfucker. All right.
No,
Yeah, I
just
mean, we can go
kidding.
deep without having algorithms
Jump,
kick us
jump.
off
I'm
the air, right? I
jumping.
mean, we can
I'm
we can go
jumping.
down that deep path. Let's talk about the yin and the yang. Let's talk about the difference between fractals and the spiral, right? I mean, that's what all this is leading us
well,
to.
see,
anyways,
the
right?
thing is that one of the things that I want to focus on, and I've got
That's the
a
ego.
month and a half.
That's the ego in the conscience, right?
Yeah,
That's the
but see,
spiral. The spiral
yeah.
is the conscience, and the fractal is the ego.
Exactly, but that's one thing that I want to be able to integrate into my book, and I've got about a month and a half that I'm setting it myself as a goal to actually get it down to be able to edit. But one of the things perfect fractals versus spirals, because one of the things that I'm concentrating on is those spirals, those negative tendencies that people have that are self-destructive tendencies, that we have a tendency to go down every fucking time. We repeat those patterns, and those are life lessons that we need to learn to get past.
Yes.
Something that we need to oh wait, that's a spiral, I'm not going to do that. Oh no, that's another one of my spirals, I'm not going to do that, because it takes time away from what your ultimate focus is. It takes you away from what your path is, and in some cases
Unless
it
it's
can lead you
something you're
to
supposed to do. Yeah.
true, it's something that you need to learn in order to
Yeah.
avoid in the future,
But
because many
that
times
becomes the awareness that we were talking about, where you have to become aware of assessing it instead of living through it. And then first you live through it, and then you
I
assess
know
it.
this is where it's going to go. No, I don't want to go there. 'Cause
Right.
that's-
So you have to learn the mistakes first, and it takes time, and then you become aware of them ahead of time, because you have learned over time
but many
to be able
people
to
end
have
up-
that ability to so this is
Yeah.
what Norma was talking about in the
Yet
beginning.
people get those spirals and they continue down them because they don't recognize their own spirals. They
Right.
continue in self-destructive tendencies like me.
Right. And that's what Denise was talking about before.
I'm just being hypocritical, but anyway.
Right. But that was what Denise was talking about before, and that's what Mike is referring to there, and what we all were talking about. And Norma too. Every time she disappears, we get into that area where she was at, and I'm like, I wish Norma was here to go down that road again. We'll have to remind her when she gets back. So, but that's what she was talking about, with working within herself and then realizing those things. But that's the first step in avoiding a trap, knowing of its existence. The only way that you can do that is you have to see what a trap is. So you're going to have to go and get caught
there you go.
in a few traps,
Oh,
right?
nope.
No.
Well, how do I get
Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
That's all right. We're
There's
still
always
here.
the mute.
I was trying to show how to work the
And
studio.
I was being a dum dum.
Oh, okay. So
Oh, excellent.
right. So that's, but we have to go through those things in the beginning. So you have to see that you're having that happen to you. And Denise, you're actually realizing that you're seeing that happen to you, that those things are trying to pull you into that negative area. So you're already in the awareness stage. Right. And this is what Norma talked about in the beginning, where she was working with herself. You have to do that with yourself and find out what is pre-programmed in your brain How did it get there? Did I put it there, or was it something that society did, or was it something that is inherent in the universe
Or it can
itself?
be
And this
your
is what
own
Aaron
It
said,
family.
and what,
comes down to
It
the,
could
what
be
it
Mike
your
comes
own
said.
right
family.
down. It really does come down to the most minuscule thing. Maybe there's
Yeah.
this thing in your life that happened. It's an original meaning. The first time I really felt distraught, it meant that everyone was going to leave me. Maybe I was only alone for 10 minutes. Doesn't matter.
But that's
Okay.
but that's
The
a
meaning
personal
I've now
trauma, and
placed to this feeling, right?
that's a personal
And I can
trauma
go
that I
ahead
personally have as well.
and see it in my mind's eye. Okay, I get that. You know what? I don't need to be worried about that anymore. But if I don't address that initial meaning, that initial
But most people
that
can't
initial
find that
thing, if I
unless they
can't go
actually
back to that
focus.
place in time within
Right.
myself and say, you
But
know what, it's okay.
yeah, but you need
And I give that
like
person that
years
place,
of.
that space.
Hold on,
that
hold
they
on. Let her
need-
finish her thought.
you-
I know she seems long-winded, but she will
I
finish.
know, I will.
All
And I'll shut
right,
up.
I'm the one that's long-winded. I get going more than she does. Go ahead, Norma.
Well,
But here's the whole
I'm the
thing.
master of the monologue. What the fuck?
Right. But getting back to that initial, like, when did I really first feel this? Like, especially when it comes to the really big things, you really got to go. When was the first time I felt this way? Why
Yeah,
is
You
it
where'd that
don't
come
have
from?
that focus.
Because, well, and maybe not, and you may not come to a.
But it is going back, like
But-
reflecting is going back to
Yeah.
the source of your pain or
Yeah.
what triggers
See,
you.
every
Like
when
looking
every
at those
single
things.
Well,
and
even
going
if
because-
you're
back. Yeah.
even if you're
But
not
every
doing
single
it
Back to something that
psychologist-
video game.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But
those-
every
Even if
single
you're-
psychologist,
patterns.
every single psychologist always starts with, "Tell me about your childhood," because those
And maybe it
base
didn't happen in
traumas and programming. For example, my parents were following the Stork book of teaching kids, which for 2 decades was the book used to teach kids, and so
Yeah.
they thought that the self-soothing and letting the kid cry in his crib
Right.
and
Yes.
sleep by himself was a good thing. I
Right.
never did that with my kids. Now I might have spoiled them a bit too much, but they're growing up good kids. Me,
Get it.
I'm fucked up, and I got security issues like a son of a bitch. Why? Because my parents sat there and held each other while I cried because it was tough for them to hear me cry and not run to my aid. Because that is the natural.
Because you're always
recourse
fucking trying to
of
talk, dude,
parents.
and everybody, and eventually they're like, "Fuck, okay, dude's been talking
Well, see-
all day. Like he still wants to talk.
Mhm.
He's rubbing his eyes right now. He's tired.
But no, but in response,
Give me a hug, babe. Hold me because this motherfucker wants
Okay,
That's,
to."
hold on
that's
now.
kind
He
of
has a
what I'm
lot to
saying.
I
say.
want to go
You
around
may
the
have gotten
room,
to that
guys. I
point
want to
in
address this
yourself.
question that I
Hold on,
have
hold
on the screen. I want to address this question. Denise posed a very good question here. She said, "How long did it take all of you to master this?"
It's a
Right?
work in progress, always and forever.
Yes, mastering means keeping
Always
going.
and
Like
forever.
you're not,
Always
you're
and
not, you don't
forever.
ever get to the end. You learn how to do it better. Like
Right.
Right.
it's like anything else. When you do it,
Because I don't
enough-
think there is an end. There's
No,
no
I
end.
there
know
is
it
no
well
end.
enough
Like,
to
you
keep
keep
There is
improving,
an end.
right?
There is an end. It's called death. And then
Well-
everybody
No,
goes
that's
out like
not an end,
Alexander.
though.
No, because that's
And
not
then-
the
but
end.
hold on.
bro.
Time to
That's
the
That's
of
just the
this
end of this
reality.
construct. That's
Yes,
all. It's
and
not the end of
everybody
me.
leaves this construct the
So
same
there is
way
no
that
end.
Alexander. But everybody
There's
leaves
no
this
end.
construct the
There's
same
no
way
end.
that Alexander
Matter
the
of
Great
fact,
did,
you don't want there
with his
being an end.
hands
You want to
empty.
keep getting back into these games, these
Yeah,
video
but
games.
that's
like we're in
the
right now.
reincarnation. I want to get into a bigger.
Well, that's the
game.
purpose of
Because
all
they're
of this
bigger
is to
fish
have
to fry.
experiences. So when
Yeah.
we created the universe, we created it so that it's not ending because we're not ending. So
It
only thing
will
that
eventually
ends,
end because there's
the
something
only
else
thing
beyond
that
us.
ends,
And,
no,
yeah.
it can't. If it ends, then everything winks out of existence. There is no
Mhm.
end. Everyone says it's going to expand out to nothing and then it's going to
There
come
will
back. and
always
it's gonna
be-
Basically, what it
disappear.
does is it expands
Into
and
nothingness.
it
Something.
contracts. It
It's
Perceiving
expands and it
something.
That's
contracts.
right.
That's the physical
And now
universe.
That's
And
the
that physical
spiritual universe
universe is
too. It's
true.
all the same. We are the
Ooh,
A little
microcosm
man.
to the macrocosm. Okay? There
Okay.
is no end because there is no beginning. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
That's right.
It's just,
It's a
That's- yeah.
circle,
it is
dude.
just now.
Or
It
a
is
figure
just
eight. Think about it in a
now.
figure eight.
We are
Now
all
is the
these
only time
children
that
No
kind
end,
of
no
growing
beginning.
within these different realms. We're all plants being seeded. We are all
Yep.
ever growing. No matter what it is we turn into this time,
We're
we
never.
are
There's always
connected
going
to
to be
the thing
something
that I
better
was
than
that
us,
time.
even in the spirit
There-
realm.
Right?
Even in the higher realms.
It is always, it is forever, it is all, it is now, it is nothing, it is everything, it is ever going.
This
Sounds
comment right here, everybody has opinions and everybody has the right to their opinions, but you don't necessarily have the obligation to take their opinions as fact and integrate them into your reality.
right?
Right. You gotta let
You
that
can
process.
Yes.
just
Yeah,
let them
everyone- yeah,
spew
right.
let them spew what they're going to spew. They can spew whatever they want. It's got nothing to do with you.
No, Denise is
Why?
cool, dude. Denise is cool, man.
No, I understand.
she's
that.
so
I get
fan.
that. I'm just answering that because
I
she
will go
probably
for it.
gets bombarded by all these different opinions,
Right.
and it all drives her nuts because she wants to respect everybody. Okay,
Right.
but not everybody's opinion is going to
We
be
all disagree
beneficial
about
to
shit
you.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
That's
sometimes
And that's
because
when
we're all
you
in
go in and
different.
you assess it
You
yourself.
guys have to realize
Mhm.
that each one of you is independently in your own place on your own
Yes.
journey.
That's the beauty
And
of it.
everything that I say is my opinion of my journey and what
Yes.
my take is on it. And
and
Mike
mine is
and
my
Aaron and
perspective.
Norma.
Free speech. We should
Yeah.
all be able to say our own opinion,
Yeah.
no
Right,
matter
absolutely.
how bad it makes you feel.
Right,
However,
We should
right.
be able to speak it.
however,
Like,
there is
and it, no
however,
matter how dumb it sounds.
but however,
No
there
matter
was
how
a friend of
crazy
mine.
I am, I have every right to speak. Even if
That's
I
right.
go and I start this cult that's going to make you drink Kool-Aid in a year or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it
well,
was. I
yeah,
don't remember.
The Jim
you have,
But you
Jones
know what I mean?
Kool-Aid.
Like,
Jim
you
Jones
because
have
Kool-Aid.
that right. However, there
Fucking
is
Jim
something
Jones. What a
intrinsic.
weird
not
deal,
that it's
dude.
right.
That was an
There is
experiment,
something
bro.
intrinsic.
CIA
There is something
experiment.
intrinsic. There is something intrinsic in being able to build a community, and in building a
Yes.
community,
Yes.
you realize that there are
Yes.
limitations to the
Hey,
consequences
Mike, what are we
of
doing right
your
now, bro?
speech, and we're building a community.
That's
And
right,
so,
brother.
and
Fucking
so
Ed
whenever
Evan.
there we go. So what
Nice.
happens is that the individuality ends up being limited by the damage you're causing to those in your community. For example, if I want to go around and say the F word or the N word or something else, and somebody in my community doesn't like that and doesn't resonate with that, then that's negative to the community in general. Yes, I have the freedom to my expression, but I also have the responsibility of peaceful coexistence with those
Right.
that are
And so
around me.
that's when
And
you
so I want to
have
limit the things.
coalitions with one another and you go,
Coalitions. Yes, we
hang
have a
on,
You
coalition.
create an
why is it
understanding.
exactly that this is so offensive to you? Is it the way that I'm saying it? Is it the
No,
words
it
that I'm
doesn't.
saying?
It doesn't.
What is
No,
it
it
that's
doesn't
bothering you?
fucking matter. It doesn't
It
fucking
does
matter.
though.
It just
It
matters that
does
it is
though.
offensive. Period.
Because
Because
here's the
they
thing.
can't
If I
explain. They
go
can't
and I
explain why.
totally twerk my whole society against the sickest one, then
Everybody's gonna be a
everyone
sick
becomes
motherfucker.
kind of sick, right? We're
Yeah,
all
but
kind of melding to this degree of this
and
thing.
that's where we're getting into society today. Everything is relativism, and we have to get back to a base. For example, if it offends you,
Exactly.
why
So
does it? But see, not
understanding, I
everybody
need to
has
take
that
you
deeper
into
understanding.
Hold on, hold
consideration.
on.
Some people say that, oh, it bothers me because the news told me that I'm supposed to be bothered by that.
Right.
Right. And
See,
that's
and
why I
that's
And
say,
part of
that
the
is the
so
problem.
having a
bombardment.
coalition after that point, I've bothered you. Okay. I don't want to bother
Which we
you.
can go
How
back
do
to
we fix this?
neuro-linguistic
I know
programming.
you're
What you
saying it's
see on the
this thing,
TV
but
Right.
is
is it
fucking
really
telling
this
you to
thing?
believe. Trust the
That's
empire.
exactly
Yes.
where
Trust
I
the
was going.
empire, y'all. Come on.
Yes.
Right.
All
Darth
we
That's
need to
Vader
do
is
is
exactly
the
where I
open
good
was
guy.
going.
communication.
That's
It's
part of
very,
the
very
external
key
ego
in your
that we've
decisions.
created. We've created the television. That's an external ego. We've created the internet. That's an external ego. Okay,
AI.
we've created,
Yeah.
and the AI. So they're bombarding you constantly, just like Aaron just said. They're bombarding you constantly with believe. Watch the movie They Live and pay
Yeah.
attention.
They
That
live.
movie
Oh,
is
shit.
telling you what's
Oh,
happening in real
that's a
time.
great allegory, dude. That's a great
Yeah,
allegory.
right.
Yes.
And in fact, Rowdy
Great
Piper was
fucking movie.
legendary
Dude,
for
I love
saying he
Rowdy
thought it was
Piper.
a
He died, man.
documentary. I don't know if
I
that's
remember
true.
you
I've never been able
Before
to
the
verify that.
vaccines, he died.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Yeah, he
so
said
it
that was a
wasn't on it. It
documentary
wasn't
that
on
he
it.
made. So you guys should see that movie. It's
Hey, did
called
you
They
guys hear
Live.
about Bob Saget and actually having a lot of head injuries?
No.
And then the live stream, we may talk about it next time, but holy shit, dude. I just got shown something and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, well,
Well,
see, the thing is
we'll
that
have to-
he was
we'll
Because he
actually
had a
taken out.
podcast with his wife. He was doing a podcast with his wife. And
Right. We'll have to cover
she
that
was
next
talking
week
about
then.
all her favorite movies. And it's Bob Saget. You know how
Right.
he is. It's
Yeah.
like timing and everything. Well, she was talking about all her favorite movies. She's like Goodfellas, Casino, all this shit. And he's like, oh, and he was trying to kind of like be sarcastic because he's sarcastic. That's his
Right.
humor and sarcasm.
Yeah.
And he said, so that means that I'm not going to live, right? And she goes, better be careful. Well, it's just weird and coincidental that it happened and then he died.
And here's the thing.
Right.
I would go to saying
Does he
that
know where some
sometimes
bodies are buried?
there are
That's what
those
I'm saying. I don't know, but
strange things
the
that
plot
tend to
thickens
happen.
on that one.
I'm not saying anyone's
Could
aware
be
of
another
these
rabbit
things.
hole.
You know, Peter put this up
Right?
earlier, and he
I
and
can see
someone
him
else, I
saying
don't remember who it was talking about it when I
What's
made
that?
the
Hold on.
reference. Right? And
Leo,
Peter put this
what
up
were you saying? Go
earlier,
ahead.
and someone else did too, about I'm just here. I come here to chew gum and kick ass. That was what he said. That was what Rowdy Piper said once he
Yeah.
could see the
Oh
aliens.
yeah, yep.
Remember, he
Yep.
says, "I'm here to
I'm
chew
surprised,
bubble gum
I'm
and
sure.
kick ass, and I'm
Yeah.
all out of bubble gum." They were talking about that earlier when I was making the other movie reference about an hour ago, and I didn't get to put it up on the screen. So Peter repeated it just now because I made the reference
Nice.
that he was referring to about They Live. So you
Exactly.
guys should really see that movie, because that movie is,
I need to
again,
watch
it was
it.
John Carpenter
Number
watch
one,
putting together.
do not
Yeah.
He
comply
puts the
and kick
sunglasses
ass.
on and sees the fucking.
Oh, okay.
Do
Yeah.
not comply.
Yeah, with the Ray Bans,
and
remember,
kick
Norma? He
ass.
put on the Ray Bans, and then he could see what was going on, and then he could hear it,
Obey,
and he saw
comply.
obey,
Check this out. Hold on.
consume,
Yes, I've seen
consume,
it. It is a good
People,
one.
sleep,
It
people
is
would
a good
see,
one.
obey.
It's a
see
very good one.
the lizard brain of the people that were
Yeah.
programmed, and the AI programming could actually
Well,
see
and that's why
their
I say, I
personality and
mean,
their
when each of
consciousness
us,
coming
we
through.
were
Yep.
taught from a younger age, not this, I mean, ABCs, yes. I mean, learning to read and write, these things are fucking crucial. But like, if we truly learned like what it means when we feel certain things, when our body's
Yeah, but
doing
at the-
certain things,
But at the
if
same
we're not
time, we got to
shamed
be.
if you don't feel that, if you are feeling that, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If we were more taught as a kid, okay, learn, okay, imagine
Because our
this.
parents were heavily
My-
brainwashed too.
My grandbaby,
And their
think of
grandparents.
it. If
Yeah.
he fell over this much, thinking, oh my God, they're just laughing at me. They're just laughing. You know what? It's gonna be easier not to cry. He would never crawl. He'd never walk. He'd just be. We wouldn't, right? When we're that little, and we're still kind of taking in the data as data. We're bringing it into our picture. of
Sorry,
the
but
world.
Norma, they're
Bringing
not
it into
processing at that
our-
level, because their processing is still trying to figure out. I put one foot in front of the other. That
Yes.
processing, you're
Not
talking
all of
Yeah,
them.
but-
They're not all, dude.
Listen,
Our
though.
guests are, our people watching us are pretty fucking sharp, dude. Trust
Here's-
me.
No,
here's
I'm,
what
I'm
pretty
hey,
sharp,
hold on. Up until a
Very
certain
watching.
age, what you're talking about is something that happens after the age of 25. That deep fucking questioning, and that, oh my God, I can't do this because happens normally
Burden was
after
when it happened for
25.
me.
Yeah,
So
it's
a
rare.
baby,
numerous
cra-
times
a
over
It's
my
baby
life.
rare that
crawling,
it
was a
happens.
deep
a
fucking
baby
birthday
crawling,
for me.
he will not be
21
thinking
was
about
something.
everybody
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
him fail while he crawls, because
Well,
the
it
baby
is
doesn't
rare.
even have
Mike's
the
right. It's rare
concept
in most
of
people.
reality and society as a whole. He's only
Right.
Right.
So
trying
now,
to
but
figure
where
out
I'm
how
going with
far
this
is this away, and I'm fucking hungry. That's the only thing that's going through
Listen.
their fucking brain.
Right, Kay. Yes. This is our tool. We come down here with the everything within our DNA. All the information we need throughout our life, anything that we need beyond excluding the experience. That's what we're here for, right? But everything we fucking need is built right in there as soon as we're born. But we're born into this new game. Okay?
Well,
I
let
just
me go
came
down
into a
this road
brand
real
new
quick.
programming. Hang
Let me go
on.
down this road real quick, because I want to.
One second.
I
Let
wanna
me finish my
explain.
point, and then yes.
Then Leo's next.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm born into this new programming. So now, with all my understanding, I now have to get from the point I just started to my understanding. Okay.
Higher understanding.
Now, I'm keeping it simple right now.
You're just
Yes,
okay, I get
I'm
I get
keeping
I
it
get
very. Now, think of this. If a newborn truly was thinking, oh my God, every time I cry, they just get mad. I'm going to let myself starve today. Well, right? Oh my God, if I fall down again, I'm just not going to fucking walk ever. It's never going to happen for me. That doesn't happen in that new game, right? It's just learning to take in the bits of data that's happening in this world around it.
Norma, how old are you?
I am 44.
All right. So you have 44 years of experience that
Yes,
learned,
I do.
that taught you
Leo's
all
next, though,
those.
bro.
Yeah, hold
Parents-
on. Let me go down this
Go
road.
ahead,
'Cause
Leo.
I need to do this.
Let Leo
Okay.
let Leo
Do
speak,
this,
please.
do this, Leo. Go for it.
Okay. First, you people out there hearing my voice wherever you are in the world, you have to understand that the predicament that we're in on this planet is different from normal third dimensional predicaments.
Right.
Okay. And
Because
I'm
we're
going to
It's
go
so
down
much
that
more.
road.
right
It's
now.
so much more.
We're higher.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to go down that road, and I'm going to explain it to you. Okay.
Yes, go for
So here, for an example, the Andromedan species, when they are teaching their young, they make sure that they teach their young 100% of everything they know and have learned, so that the young kids, as they're being brought up, already have access at a very young age to accelerated information so that they
Right.
get it faster and learn it faster than the generation before them, so they can pay it forward. And they do that with all their children. That is not the case in this place. And there's a reason for that.
Right.
Not because we were veiled, because that's part of
Individualism.
it. We're veiled so, and like Norma said, every bit of your DNA is, if you can unlock that and understand it by doing that work, but it takes time, because when you first get here, you're just witnessing and you're not thinking, because the thinking
Right.
portion of your mind hasn't started yet. And that's why the baby's looking at you with those baby eyes, because they're just in there experiencing
Now,
everything.
can I face that?
And
Because
they're
goes
not.
deeper.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead, man.
so
I
wait,
wanna
let
say
me
something,
finish.
so go
Let
ahead.
me finish, then I'll let you go.
When he
But
finishes,
what
you're
we're
next,
having
bro.
happen here is that somewhere back in the past, probably somewhere around the time when the spaceships flew over the lawn of the White House that they claim didn't happen, was when the government allowed the aliens to get boots on the ground. And then, of course, this AI took control and went backwards in time. And now what they've done is, like Norma was saying, they've now recreated this illusion over the top of the illusion that's already here, and they made it even fucking harder than it was before. And it's designed so that you never do become aware of these things
Right.
that Mike's talking about and Norma's talking
It's
about,
funny
Aaron's talking
because I
about,
just
that
came
I'm
to a
talking
conclusion.
about.
Hold on, and I'm going to let Mike speak. Please,
Yeah.
Mike, hold your thought. It's real quick. I just fucking understood something that I've never understood. And I read tarot cards. I send messages. Connecting to nature is important, because that's the natural way of things.
That's the
That is the
natural
natural game.
spiral.
So when you connect to a tree or you grow plants, I got some fucking radish seeds growing right now. Oh, they've already sprouted, dude. I'm excited. I'm getting them planted here pretty soon. I'm starting a whole hydroponic system. So this is my first hydroponic system.
The
So wish me
reason
luck.
they call it
starting slow,
nature
it's
is
slow.
because it's natural.
But nature does ground you, and that's what the grounding is like, this is how you can get away
It
from
is
all of the
understanding your environment.
the hubbub, all of the fucking neuro-linguistic programming. And you know what? There's neuro-linguistic programming that is good for you, like daily affirmations. You tell yourself every morning, programming yourself before you go to bed. I'm going to have a great day tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm going to accomplish a lot. Like just saying those things and doing it, like not being.
Wake up.
That's where I think when you can be truly lazy, is when you have no direction or no drive to do anything, even if it's what you want, just what you want. Doesn't mean you need to leave people in dust, like Ozzy Osbourne, the great Ozzy Osbourne once said.
He's still here.
Don't ever fuck people on the way up as you're going up and you're rising up, because they're always there to meet you on the way down.
They're gonna fuck you on your way down.
We'll all go down. Trust me. Like, you're gonna have those moments of life is waves. That emotion, that energy is waves. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm going way off, and I'm being like fucking
me.
I'm just taking over.
Your turn, Mike.
So go ahead,
Be
bro.
like me. So Mike, go.
No, that's quite all right.
Hour and a half of show the other
It's Mike's turn, dude. He's got the fucking spotlight. I need to have a spotlight.
I was just admitting that I do it too. Sorry.
You're a woman. It's fucking natural. You have a natural ability and
There's a
necessity
spotlight.
to speak
Boom.
30% more.
Spotlight.
Whenever you read Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, we realize that men have a need to speak around 20,000 words. Women have a natural need to speak 50,000 words. So yeah, y'all are naturally more fucking talkative. Y'all are more goddamn social. Shut
Yeah, she
up.
has to release it. So she waits for this shit, dude.
I know.
This is like her own like true expression.
Because she
So when
can't
just
fucking
keeps
talk
going,
to you,
let her finish her
Aquaman.
thought. It might
That's
take
where
a couple
I
more minutes,
Man, he says.
but you can talk. She'll let you talk.
He does kind of resemble Jason Momoa.
She will. She will.
You know that, right,
Um,
Aaron? You
I'm
do
not-
kind of resemble Jason Momoa. You could be his older brother. You know that.
I
Well,
mean, dude,
he
I'm
is-
still,
he is
Jason
actually-
Momoa
he's-
is
yeah.
me, dude.
People
Just
think
because
he's
he
real
like
life,
got
but
found
he
by
came
some
first.
Hollywood producer doesn't mean shit. I
Right?
was born
I
before you,
got the
motherfucker.
original bitches.
He looks like me. I don't look like him.
No, you're right, because you're
That was
older
a
than
good
him,
one, though,
right?
Wasn't it?
He's
Yeah,
fucking
that's good.
Aquaman. I'm Poseidon, motherfucker.
Right?
Oh,
Oh, there
well,
you go.
I'm a
You're-
quadruple Pisces, bro. And it is
Right.
full moon in Leo tonight. Can you feel
It
it?
It is.
Full
bitch.
moon in
Alright.
Leo.
It is.
Passion. the
Leo's got his
excitement.
full fucking moon, man.
Fuck
Leo's
yeah,
got
brother.
his
Right.
full moon.
Trust me, I walked
Yes.
outside last night and I looked up and went, "Whoo, doggy!" I thought I was feeling that, And then I looked it up. When's the apex? The apex is tonight.
Dude, Leo swore at us tonight.
It is,
I'm going to guilt trip him.
And then we have a
forever.
Mars-Venus conjunction,
I'm not
guys. Mars and Venus
That's what
are
the
in
pirate cast is
conjunction.
about, dude.
Venus is all about love. Mars is all about that force, right? Like
she's going to tell you some astrology. She's pretty good at it.
I mean, I'm not that great at it yet, but
it is about ending things or beginning things, and you have to go through this place where you don't know yet. Like, so we're all going to go through this like place of like questioning and like, oh God, it could end or it could just like totally grow from here because you built strength. What do you choose? Do you choose to walk away, which sometimes you should?
Yes.
But other times you should stick with it, tolerate some of your triggers, and keep pushing forward and see where the fuck it goes.
Well, because here's the thing.
It depends on if it's with positive people or people that are negative, and that's
here's the thing with the word trigger. We're constantly triggered by everything that we come across every day. Like I said, we're like little bionic machines, right? We're biological machines. We're taking in the data, and there's always stuff happen. This whole everything is sound, vibration. We are energetic, whatever. Okay. However, you need to make it okay in your brain, and don't you rush me.
I love it.
So
we're gonna have to just do it that way. Hopefully, it gets smoother as we go, but I don't know.
Just fucking get on.
I don't know. I can't tell you that. I'm a psychic, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm
we
involved
are
with.
little
biological. I still want to talk about the kid
that
fucking
taking this world
down
by our perceptions. We have 5 prominent senses. Okay, what we sense in this world through those particular 5 senses in this realm, time, place, being, which is the one most of us are focused on, right? That's why we're so depressed or this, that, or the other, whatever it is. It's this particular lifetime, this particular essence in which we are dealing with. And to deal with it, we have 5 senses. And in those 5 senses, don't you rush me, little man. I'll take my time.
He's called me little man, dude.
See, there's my
He's doing that.
You're fucking with the Sagittarius right now. She's a hunter.
He's doing that because you start over every time he does that. You realize that,
right?
Yeah,
don't
going.
Let's see who
now listening to the podcast. I mean, there's a lot of blah 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 in here, but there's a lot of good shit. You just got to pick it out, like a lot of our bullshit, and then you got to pick out like what we're trying to talk about, because what we're really talking about.
We have to do that, guys. To get around the algorithm, we got to talk bullshit and just jibber jabber.
Yeah, and that's the fucking number one rule in broadcasting, dude. No dead air. No dead air.
No dead air.
See, the thing is, I think we all understand that very well. And we want to like completely take over all of us.
Dead air with any of us. The only problem is that I was on Jacob's channel, and when I told him that I would be able to sit back and just let people speak because everybody talks over each other, and I just sit back, he laughed at me saying, "What the fuck? You can't, because I always take over fucking everything because I'm Mr. fucking Monologue, right, motherfucker?"
And that was a trigger.
But in this particular situation, Norma being the divine feminine.
Fucking very good fucking wording there, bro.
It's the truth. Think about that. Think about that. Norma is the one female with 3 freaking alpha males, and she's able to fucking control that shit.
No,
you girls out there,
and she talks over fucking everybody, and we can't say shit. I gotta sit here like a fucking wolf with my tail between my legs, going,
tell me there ain't a mother god, motherfucker.
Poseidon told me to shut up, so I gotta sit in my fucking corner until Poseidon allows Venus to stop fucking talking.
Yeah.
But see, she has to play that role. You have to understand that she's up against. Now, if we had 2 women or 3 women and 3 men, then it would be completely different.
I wouldn't say a fucking word. You realize if we had 3 fucking women on here, I wouldn't get a word in edgewise. I wouldn't even be significant. I'd just be sitting there listening.
That's baloney, because even with Leanne on the show, I know when to take my turn and when not to. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to these triggers again, let me get back to what I was trying to say before y'all.
Because I didn't even get to the point of talking about the child trying to crawl and not having all the fucking psychological barriers.
But he knows what he's doing. His machine to do it for him.
For fuck's sake, I'm trying to get back to a point I wanted to make 20 goddamn minutes ago and couldn't.
Come on,
I was right here making that point before you did.
Bro.
So, like, what are you talking about? Anyway,
because you don't shut the fuck up.
Yes, right.
Your point is done.
No.
Okay, we gotta learn how to give quick sound bites.
No baloney. the data has been put within the machine when you're born. Okay, we know everything it is we need to know beyond
Yeah,
the
because
experience,
my kid at 2 years old can do
excluding the
calculus.
experience.
Give me a fucking break. A 2-year-old can't do
So,
calculus. He doesn't have everything.
why
when he
a
gets in there.
child that isn't thinking certain things or isn't in those preconceived notions doesn't have that program, that meaning put to everything just yet. He doesn't have all his boxes set together. He just knows that he can walk. He's going to do what it's going to take, and it's going to take as long as it can for him to do that, right? He's not thinking about, oh, that this person reacting this way means this thing. Not yet. Until those meanings start to come in. When we start putting meanings on things.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that way? Isn't a 2-year-old a lot better and deeper in reality because he's trying to figure his shit out? Because this is the point that I wanted to make 20 or some odd fucking minutes ago. And it is this. When you are 2 years old, your only focus is how far away is that? I need to touch that, and I need to figure out what this reality that I am now in means. And so I need to figure out, how do I keep balance in this new fucking meat suit? How do I make sure that oh, fuck, my stomach hurts. Wah, holy shit. I smell fucking bad, and I'm all fucking gooey. Because when I cry, somebody comes and fucking helps me.
Yep.
And so that is the basic programming. We're not born with everything. And that's what we connect to it eventually.
Well, yes, we connect to, but yes, we are born. Okay. We are born with those possibilities. Let me word it better for you.
Well, no, I thought
we are born with that.
When
this
you worded
card
it,
put up in here,
because you said,
but we have to go through certain
in our
experiences,
DNA,
which is why I said everything beyond the experience of it.
So she did
Whatever
kind
it is,
of,
and it does take putting meaning to things.
Do you not allow Leo to speak for God's fucking sake?
You know what? Shut up. I shut up for y'all like the last 10, 15 minutes. Go for it.
10, 15 fucking
You're going to hear me before we
end
here.
Go, Leary. Yeah,
shut up is a bad word, dude. You shouldn't say that.
So I know, I said it too earlier.
I shouldn't have.
That's what he's telling to me.
Yep. Michael, I want to say,
I just took his energy.
Hold on, let Leonard. Hold on, Leonard's going to talk, and then Leonard's going to talk, and then I'm going to talk, and then you all can fucking.
I have to say that in Norma's defense, when she was talking about this in the very beginning, she said that we have within us, in our DNA, all that we need. She never said that we're born and we know all that. She was saying at the time, but you were too busy with the hand going to listen, so you missed it when she was saying that we have to learn these things. She said this almost an hour ago now when she was starting, but you were too busy laughing and waving her on to realize what she was saying. And then you came in and said, no 2-year-old has that. And now she's trying to explain to you, you're right, I didn't say that in the beginning, but you guys are too busy being mad at each other right now. So neither one of you's listening to the other one. You guys are making the same point, and Norma was making that point from the beginning.
And it gets to that petty place where that's where we're at. That's why we keep ourselves in this fucking prison, because we keep doing that. We keep
so as we mentioned in the beginning of the chat before we even started our stream, and we wanted to focus on today, and one of the things we wanted to be able to grow to was that resonance, to being deeper and better people, and elevating our resonance and reaching that, because we're going through a filter right now, and we've got the Antichrist spirit of self-destruction that's permeating the entire fucking planet, and we see that. Right. So how do we elevate our resonance so that we can become better individuals and pass through that fucking filter that this entire reality is about to go through?
Agreed.
So how do we individually, not changing others, changing ourselves? How can we be better people?
Yep. Agreed. And that's what we have to all focus on. And that's what we all have to focus on. So you guys are seeing on the screen, for those of you with the MP3 file, real quick, Aaron, I'll let you go.
Let's let Mike take care of it this time. Let's let Mike, you willing to give the sales pitch? And
Sacred Awakening. Sacred Awakening is going to be on March 19th. Please buy your tickets. It's $33 a person. come on in. I'm going to be talking about the Maslow pyramid, how you can find your own blue level, your own personal meaning in your own fucking life, and how you're going to start from base levels to be able to ground yourself and be able to focus on that energy to be the best you that you can possibly be. Not just me, but an entire cast, including Aaron, including Leo, that are going to be taking us onto higher dimensionalities and understandings of ourselves and making us be a better version of ourselves by understanding what the fuck we're going through, our neuro-linguistic programming, all the things that have been happening to us. That is what Sacred Awakenings is going to bring to you. Buy your tickets, ask us your questions, get deeper, and we'll take you. You guys asked in the chat, how long did it take us to get to where we are? A long fucking time, but we can help you get there a lot fucking faster.
It took me 54 years because I'm
Thank
54
you.
years old. It's taken me
44,
54
still
years
in
to get where I am.
Almost 47.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm going to be 50 next month, the day after this broadcast. So this broadcast is going to be on my 50 and 1 day thing. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Pisces.
So y'all come in, ask me some fucking questions, and let's all just get better
Are you
together.
Pisces, dude?
Yeah,
Oh,
he is.
fuck
Aries,
no,
you're
Aries,
Aries.
Aries.
No, I'm
Aries.
Pisces.
Aries.
I'm Pisces. I'm Pisces. I'm Pisces.
Are you Pisces? Okay.
I'm
I
fucking
forgot the day that
Pisces,
it
man.
was.
I knew you
I'm like,
somewhere,
That's
dude.
yeah, because it's
I think
Aries
I think
starts
Leo
in
was some
22 or
kind of king that was trying to fuck us over, but now he's trying to
Well,
repent.
Leo knew about you, so when I wanted to start a show with Leo, he said, "I know somebody else can come on," but it was you, me, and Leo, and then Norma came on, and holy fucking shit, the divine feminine.
And we
I
need
just
one
shut
more woman,
down.
dude. We need one
I
more
just,
woman
I
with
just,
great
no,
insight.
Gotta
And
have,
I think
gotta
I'm
have
a
that.
very
Gotta have the
masculine.
sacred
that,
feminine.
no,
Can't
because
have
the sacred
one without
feminine,
the
no.
I fucking bow down to the sacred feminine, and I shut my
Gotta
hole.
have the sacred
And
feminine.
that's the goddamn problem.
See,
I can't
here-
because I got a voice I got to put out there, and I can't because the sacred feminine is the sacred feminine.
See,
you
here's
can put it
here's
out
what you
there.
need to.
You're just going to
see,
have
Aaron
that
and I have
feminine
realized
attribute coming back at you until you either find your balance or understand
Until you
both,
accept the sacred feminine or get the fuck
Right.
out the way.
right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, see that you have to realize that Aaron said this earlier when we started, but it was in the background because everybody was talking to you guys were arguing. But Aaron said this, and you need to understand this: there is a sacred feminine. There is no the monotheistic God, which is the
Yeah.
Hebrew.
But can I
you know,
not be the sacred masculine? And there's a definite,
it's
fine.
just not.
You be
It's not. The
you.
universe,
I'm just not you.
the universe wasn't created that way. The universe was created from an androgynous male-female oneness into separation and Aaron explained it so that it could
Splitting the
create.
atom, bro.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that it
But
could
that's
create.
why we're mortal. But
So
that's
you
exactly
have to.
why
So
we're
you have
mortal.
to have the feminine and the masculine. If you're just
You have
focused
to.
on the masculine only,
Right.
then you're going to only learn one
Fine.
aspect of the
However, my
possibilities to
question
learn in the
now
universe.
is that the only focus on the planet today is the feminine, and the masculine has disappeared.
No,
that's
no,
not
no.
true, bro. That's
Here's
not
the
true
thing.
at all. Like, there's a lot of
That's a
hubbub about it,
choice.
but really,
Yeah,
I
mean,
say
look
that's
at this
coming from
podcast
that's
right
egoic
now.
Polar mystics
thought.
truth by
That's
masculine
coming
and
from
feminine.
ego. That's the mind saying we're
I
being
am a woman
emasculated
in
by
my
the
physical
feminine.
form.
Hold on.
Masculine
Okay,
and
but that's
let
masculine.
Leonard
so
finish.
that's so what
He's about
happens
to
is
say some
if you're
beautiful
in
shit,
the
and
egoic
nobody listens.
mind, if you're in the egoic mind of masculinity, you're going to naturally say the feminine is taking control and we're being emaciated and emasculated because the masculine that's in you is trying to stay in control. Do you understand? That's egoic thinking. And it's the same the other way around. Women will tell you, oh, the men dominate everything. But that's because the female in them is the dominant and they feel that they're being squelched out because they're resistant to
Do
the
you
center.
really think Hillary Clinton? Let's go back to Hillary Clinton. Do you really think Hillary Clinton is using divine feminine?
Right.
Nope.
No.
Hillary?
She's
Hillary?
using the masculine. She's being
No,
masculine.
sorry. No, she's not masculine. Hillary is a fucking demon. All right. And
Well,
so
you have to understand where everything
a whole
fits.
nother
Guys.
fucking story.
You have to understand where everything
She's
fits.
neither one because she's none of the divine. There ain't no divine fuck all with that deal.
Look at it. I just triggered you right now.
yeah.
Hillary Clinton
Fuck
just triggered you.
yeah. Hillary
But
fucking
here's what
triggers
you need
my
to
ass.
understand, Mike. What you need to understand about the
Hold
on.
energies, what you need to understand about the energies is that war is a masculine trait, not a feminine trait. Femininity, they can go to war, but they're not planning it. They don't
Let
look
Norma
for
speak
war
next.
because they're
Right.
nurtured by nature. Men in the
They know how to
masculine,
dance within the chaos. They know how to cope with bullshit, dude.
right?
They know how to cope with the shit better than men do. Like men
Yeah,
will go like,
absolutely.
okay, all right, this is where I go. There's a fucking nail. I gotta hammer it.
And
Where
there,
Yeah.
women are just like that. And I'm not the divine feminine. That
Yeah,
doesn't mean
not women, but
Man or
divine
woman.
but it is
feminine. The
represented.
energy
Look,
itself,
That's the
not
manifestation
the, not
on
the,
this
you
earth.
go
you know,
back. You go back to Mars and Venus. Men are from Mars, women are from
Well,
Venus.
here's the
To
whole thing, though,
understand
is
the
you can't put it to the
anthropological.
sex of the being, though, because when you do that, you dismiss the energy at play. I
right,
have a very masculine thinking mind. I do understand the feminine, but it took me many moons, and I'm still figuring out how to bring my order into my chaos, right? Because I tend to try to be logical too often. I thank God I'm open. I'm open to learning new things, and it's so it's probably easier for me than other people with that masculine thinking, with the feminine. Okay, you have all this chaos happening in you with your hormone, whatever, however you want to put it, at whatever level, at whatever. But in this realm, the woman is going to be dealing with, yes, the female aspects of this physical reality. However, her thinking, her mind, her being may be very masculine. Why do you think we have the people that are getting so confused about their sex these days? Well, I
right.
feel like I'm a boy, but I'm a girl.
Identity
Hey,
problems. Not willing to look
so
in,
not
look
finding
within.
that
That's like
balance, really getting that balance
that's
and
not willing to look within,
understanding.
dude, and like look at yourself. Like, okay, it's okay if you like men, dude. It's okay if you're a man and you like men. It's okay if you're a woman and you like women. It's okay, but just come to terms with what you are, or
Who
not really
Right.
what you are, but
who
what
you
do
are.
you like? What do you
Yeah.
like without hurting other people?
Right.
Like,
Right.
what does it brings you joy? Because there's other people out there that will have the same thoughts. So my
Right.
last thought is that love each other. Don't judge each other for what they think, as long as they're not hurting other people in a violent way.
Let me
Or
put it in let me put it in perspective really quickly. Have you ever
no, I'm
taken
gonna give you your
martial
last.
arts?
Hold on, I'm gonna give you your last, and we're gonna come back around. So yeah, actually, you should start, and I want you to give the final thought because we're getting ready to close this up,
Yes.
and then we're gonna go to Mike, and then we're gonna go to Norma, and then we're
Good,
gonna come
because
back.
my thinking is going to be kind of in a question answer for Mike. So that's good. So Mike, have you ever taken martial arts in your life?
Fuck yeah. Taekwondo, karate, kung fu, and jujitsu,
Okay. So
and tai chi.
okay,
Which
so in
which-
your training in martial arts, I've been in martial arts almost my entire life. Formal training started at 8 years old. Okay, in martial arts, if you had a good sensei teaching you, you learned aggression, but you also learned
control.
passive, aggressive, and control. Correct. The
You
only
can
way you
destroy
can be
somebody, so don't fucking destroy him.
right.
Right.
But now what is that? Let's break that down and let's put that into perspective of the masculine, sacred masculine, sacred feminine. The sacred masculine is the ability to fucking destroy and break some motherfucker off.
Yeah.
Defend your shit.
The feminine is the nurturing aspect of the martial
Knows how
art.
to
It is in
communicate.
your
So I'm the
brain
one that either
that
tells me, yes,
teaches
that's
you
what needs to
not
happen,
to
or
break a
no.
motherfucker
Okay.
off.
So,
So the
you know,
control and the balance between the sacred masculine and feminine comes into play when you're in balance with yourself as a martial artist to know I can peel this motherfucker back with one hand, but there's no reason to go that far. And
Right.
I will only do that if my life depends on it because they have pushed me to it. They have taken all the peace books and thrown them away and they have opened the book of war. When they
Yeah.
do that, I have to in kind or I retreat.
Defend yourself.
I
You have
don't
to
fucking
defend yourself
retreat.
or
That's the
retreat
whole
from a
goddamn
dumb
point.
situation.
Do
I
you
don't
see?
goddamn retreat.
Go
That's
ahead,
the whole-
Mike. You're next. You're next, bro.
All right.
Final
So
thoughts. Final thoughts. Where can
final,
they find you?
final thoughts. I wanted actually some of my fucking thoughts.
You have them
Holy
all, dude.
fucking
You own
shit.
every one of them.
All
Yeah,
right,
they're all
so Mars
yours,
and
brother.
Venus, Mars and Venus, y'all were created in society because you couldn't go out there and fucking because y'all are weak, and we want y'all around to make more fucking kids. So we go
Here,
out there and
did you-
face all those different difficulties, and we were outside the cave, and we had to shut our fucking hole because the things that we were trying to hunt could hear our asses. And y'all, this is Mars and Venus, okay? Read the fucking book. It's anthropological history. And so women were in the cave with 5 women creating 25 kids. There's this goddamn chaos in the fucking cave. You got one woman looking out there trying to figure out the difference of the color of the tiger from the grass. And so y'all's ability to see colors is much more than ours because of the need for that.
You're in trouble, dude.
There were
you're gonna be in
also
trouble.
those
You're the
inside who had to
chauvinist
be
of
able
the
to
fucking
take care
bunch,
of.
bro.
This is the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From
All
Venus.
right,
If you read the
final
fucking
thoughts.
book, that's right there.
He'll get there,
And
Aaron.
so
He's a young Padawan.
the societal need to take care of 25 kids with 3 women and to be able to feed everybody made those needs for communication, for society, for the ability to collaborate, to produce more for the survival of the cave, while those outside the cave were killing shit and bringing meat back. Okay,
Yeah.
so we lived in silence. They lived in communication. The reality that we are in today is an extremely social reality, which is more adaptive to the natural abilities of women. Because the women's ability to take care of all those social situations, deal with all those social drama, and all the shit that happens within the society of the cave is different from the men out there. Shut the fuck up! You're gonna scare off the fucking bison. Let's get in closer, get 3 darts in there, and we'll be able to take some meat back to the people. Or our enemy is coming over there to rape our women and kill our children. So I need to make sure I can gut as many of those motherfuckers before they come to my woman and do something against my shit. There's a difference in mentality. And the society we are in today is more adaptive to the society y'all were created for than the society we were created for.
Well, yeah. Well, and
That's
that's
my
just it,
final word.
though. I think it goes beyond the creation, though. I think it goes like into the individual.
Yeah, well,
And
hold on. I
let's look
studied
how.
I studied martial arts, and I'm a football coach, but at the same time, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I
Yeah,
cook and
yeah,
clean for 3.5 fucking years. I just got through hanging out fucking laundry.
yeah.
I pick up my
Fucking
kids from
lucky
school.
motherfucker.
I am the
Right?
divine fucking feminine because I knew that I could be the emotional stability for my kids better than my
All
wife
right,
who works
sum it
10 or
up, dude.
12
Sum it
hours a
up. We're
day.
past 2 hours and 15. My dog is bugging me. It needs to take a shit.
All right.
That was
Everybody
long
needs
thing,
to
but
resonate at a higher level of peace. Be at
Well, right.
peace. Love everybody.
There you go. Yeah.
yes. All right, Norma.
And here's the thing. I feel like that it comes down to that individual space, which is why I mean, and maybe that's could look. I have my opinions, and not everybody likes me. There whatever blah blah blah.
Okay, sum it up, babe.
The sum of
Summation
things
right
is
now.
look.
Not a fucking epic dialogue. Like we're not going into epic stories right now. I'm just
As I wait for
all right,
5 minutes
just
to
come
sum my
on.
shit
That
up
was
because
not
he's
5
got to
minutes.
tell
That
me
took
how to
10
do it.
seconds. Go.
Anyway, the thing of it is I feel like as long as you truly learn how you work, understand that triggers are not necessarily a problem. They're only a problem because you don't know what you're not responding to them properly. You're not giving them the proper attention. You're allowing some outer force affect some inner force that you don't know how to deal with.
Ground.
Knowing that yes, there are many societal things that we should be paying attention to. There are things happening in this world that if we are not paying attention to, we're simply being ignorant. Yes, we need to know what is happening. We need to know what's going on. We need to be able to decipher things. We need to be able to understand that we're not going to get all our information from one thing, even though all that information may already be within, right? We are living this experience that tells us we need other things. We need that data to kind of bring them back into our awareness or whatever, however it is you need to word it.
We need to live in love.
Okay, babe.
My
Sum it up,
specialties
babe.
are
What are we
ceremonies
talking
and
about?
healing.
All right, I'm
You
going to
can
ask
find me
something
at
else
Mystic
too.
Norms.
If you were to leave
That's it.
one phrase, what would you leave for the audience that's listening? What would your phrase be? Just one phrase, just even a word. Word works.
I wish you the best.
Oh, nice. How about you, Mike?
Be at peace.
How about you, Leo?
You're not alone ever, no matter how much society wants to make you think you are.
Right on.
That's right.
So this is the Pirate Podcast, and we're coming to the end now. So we're not
Thank
ever
you,
coming
Aaron.
to the
I
end.
appreciate.
I mean, we're going to
thank
keep
you,
going.
Aaron. I thank you, Norma.
Like
I
next
thank
week
you,
we'll be
Leo.
on, and who knows, we may. Thank you, man. Thank you for being on.
Yeah,
I
thank you,
appreciate
man.
you all, both of you, all three of you.
All of you watching.
Thank you very much. We're gonna go out to nice
Everybody.
acoustic. I'm a guitar
Acoustic.
player.
Yay.
Acoustic, something you
That's
shoot
what I made
pool
fun
with,
of
not for
people for
billiards.
saying that. But
And
we're just gonna go and
another
listen.
thing, Sacred Awakening. Get your tickets online, please. Leo, Aaron, tell us how to
Coming
get
up
that.
soon.
Put the
Yes,
link
link in
in.
the
Yeah.
YouTube and it will be in the podcast, and it
In
will
the
be
comments.
on Facebook. So it's all in the title on Facebook. It's in the description on YouTube.
All right.
Listen to that music
Sacred
playing us
Awakening.
out, dude. Some nice acoustic music, nice little
Elevate
background music.
Elevate our resonance. Make us all
We'll
more
see y'all
loving
next week,
individuals.
maybe sooner. Who knows? I might
Love
I might do some video games online.
I'll be
before
back on
our next
Friday
show.
on Orion Rising.
Oh, yeah,
Same
yeah.
bat time, same
Orion
bat channel,
Rising,
4
yes.
p.m.
I'm on
That's right.
Tuesdays.
And check me out
with a
anytime I do a
perspective.
lot of live stuff. And my name's Aaron Fowler,
the
Psychic
Mystic-
Shaman.
The Psychic Shaman is on
Mystic.
almost every day for his card readings. Go
Yes.
ahead and make sure, because listening to him is always, even if he's reading cards for somebody else, there's always something in it that you can take away for yourself,
Always
because there's deeper fucking
Right,
understanding.
yo.
So tune in.
I love you
Psychic
guys.
Shaman is
I love
on
you all
almost
out in
every
the
day.
chat. Yes, thank you very much. Love you
Hit
guys.
like, hit subscribe.
See you soon.
Share
See
this
you
out,
next
share
week.
this out, share this out.
Yes,
Share,
please.
share. Yeah.